First regular season game in the history of the New York Mets. Brought to you by Rheingold Extra Dry. Tonight, the New York Mets meet the St. Louis Cardinals right here in St. Louis. Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, and I are on hand to bring you every bit of the action. Yes, sir, the New York Mets are on the air in their first great season. Right now, Casey Stengel, Johnny Keane, and the four umpires are getting together at home plate for the last-minute check. And right now would be a good time for you to check up on your supply of fine, cold Rheingold. Rheingold Extra Dry. Yes, sir, put some Rheingold on ice because it can add a lot to your enjoyment of the game. Rheingold is brewed from the choicest ingredients. Brewed the long, slow, costlier way for flavor that's brisk and bright and clean, clear through. Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Dry tells you why. And say right now would be a good time to light up a Viceroy. Viceroy is not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. That's right. Now it's just about game time, so settle back with a tall, cold glass of Rheingold, and we'll give you the starting lineups. For the New York Mets, manager Casey Stengel will have Richie Ashburn in center field leading off. Felix Mantilla will be at shortstop, batting second. Charlie Neal at second base, batting third. Frank Thomas in right field, batting cleanup. Gus Bell in right field, batting fifth. Gil Hodges playing first base, batting sixth. Don Zimmer will be at third base, batting seventh. Hobie Landreth behind the plate. Hobie will bat eighth. Pitching and batting ninth, veteran right-hander Roger Craig. For the St. Louis Cardinals, and they feel they have a team that will be a strong contender for the National League pennant. Curt Flood will be in center field leading off. Julian Javier at second base, batting second. Bill White will be at first base, batting third. In right field, batting cleanup, Stan the Man Musial. Ken Boyer will be at third base, hitting fifth. Manny Minoso in left field, batting sixth. Gene Oliver catching and batting seventh. Julio Gotay, G-O-T-A-Y. Gotay will be at short, batting eighth. Pitching and batting ninth, Larry Jackson. Tom Gorman from Long Island will umpire behind the plate. Dick Bill Sikowski from North Walpole, New Hampshire will call the plays around first. Ed Stall will be at second. And Al Foreman will be at third. The skies are mostly cloudy. The temperature in the high 40s. The wind right now has subsided and is not really a factor in the ball game. Well, you know, folks, like the sign says, new team, new girl, same great beer. Yes, sir, New York has certainly taken to its brand new National League team, the Mets. Now, this Rheingold 1962, well, is more popular than lovely Kathy Kirsch. And that same great beer, Rheingold, it's been New York's favorite for as long as I can remember. How come so many millions choose Rheingold over all other beers? Simple enough, it's beer as beer should taste, and dry tells you why. Dry beer is lighter, more naturally refreshing, and Rheingold is extra dry. Extra dry for that extra refreshing taste no other beer can match. Why not see for yourself what a difference dry makes? Enjoy a glass of refreshing Rheingold along with the game. And you'll join millions who say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Well, we are about to be witnesses to history in the making right here in St. Louis as the New York Mets become a reality. From the dreams and the planning boards, from the works that were required to put the ball club together, from the long work in spring training, everything now bursts on the scene and becomes a reality. And the National League now is back in New York after an absence of 4 years. Managed by Casey Stengel, with George Weiss running the front office, a veteran coaching staff of Solly Hemus, Cookie Lavagero, Rogers Hornsby, Red Ruffing, and Red Kress. And a starting team tonight that is truly a veteran ball club. This, incidentally, with the exception of Roger Craig, is the exact personnel that played the very first spring training game for the New York Mets back on the 10th of March against the same St. Louis Cardinals. And if you'll recall, Roger Craig actually was to pitch that day. but injured a muscle in his back sliding a couple of days before and had to bypass that turn. And the batting order is exactly the same except for one switch. On that day back on March the 10th, Don Zimmer and Felix Mantilla were in reverse positions in the New York Met batting order. Now the outplay in tonight's ball game could be very tricky and could be very important. So much rain has fallen in St. Louis over the last 3 days that the outfield is very, very slow. The infield, of course, was covered throughout the rain and is in pretty good shape. But the outfield is so soggy and so sponge-like that at the last moment, manager Johnny Keane of the Cardinals decided to let his outfielders wear the low-cut, lightweight football shoes, just like the halfbacks wear. Game time temperature here in St. Louis, we were a little bit off in our estimate. They now say it is 55 degrees. But in the outfield for the Cardinals, Manoso in left, Flood in center, and Musial in right, all three are wearing the low-cut, lightweight football shoes, just like the ones worn by the backs and the ends in pro football. Naturally, when they come into the dugout to go on the attack, they'll be taking those off and putting on their regular baseball spikes because the infield was covered and is in pretty good shape. So setting up the Cardinal defense as right-hander Larry Jackson throws in the last of his warm-up tosses. Ken Boyer at third. Julio Gotay at short. Julian Javier at second. And Bill White is at first. In the outfield, Manny Manoso in left. The speedy Curt Flood in center. And around and right, one of the great names in the history of the game, Stan the Man Musial. The battery for the Cardinals, Larry Jackson on the mound. He'll be caught by young Gene Oliver. Now moving up to lead off in the ball game for the New York Mets will be the veteran Richie Ashburn. Richie, who enters this season needing only 55 base hits to reach the 2,500 hit mark. And in this game tonight, you have the two men who have more base hits than any other players in the National League. Stan Musial, number 1, and Richie Ashburn, number 2. Richie, after 14 years, is still a lifetime 300 hitter with an average of 308 over the 14-year span. And as you know, twice he won the National League batting title. So veteran Richie Ashburn is stepping in against Larry Jackson, the fine curveballing right-hander of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jackson was hurt in spring training last year, got off to a very slow start. He was 3 wins and 8 losses in the middle of the year. But then he came strong with a great second half. He won 11 of 12 decisions, and he wound up the year as the comeback guy of the Cardinal mound staff. And so he has been given the honor by Johnny Keane of pitching his third opening game. Now Larry Jackson looks in to get his side from Gene Oliver. Richie Ashburn counttailing the bat around. Jackson is into his windup, and the Mets are in business. The pitch is hit on the ground, down to third, a foul ball. Backhanded by Kenny Boyer, and there's no play. And now it's a reality. We're underway here in St. Louis with Richie Ashburn leading off. Felix Mantilla moving out on deck. He'll be followed by Charlie Neal. Center fielder Curt Flood swung way over into left center, playing Ashburn to hit to the opposite field. A drive in the air to left center. Curt Flood is backpedaling. He's there now. He makes the catch to the out. Curt Flood had a perfect defensive position on Richie Ashburn. He was way over in left center. Really had to meander back about 10 to 12 strides to take it for the out. One away, nobody on. That brings up Felix Mantilla. This was a very good spring for Felix Mantilla. He was in a batting slump in the early part of spring training, but when the Mets on the 23rd of March started a road trip on the other side of Florida, he got hot. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Right after the game tonight, the New York Mets will be flying to New York. They're anxiously looking forward to the big reception tomorrow in New York with the parade down Lower Broadway. And the welcoming at City Hall. And the opener against Pittsburgh on Friday at the Polo Grounds. Gene Oliver crossed behind the plate. Now Jackson nods in accord. Into the windup, the pitch on the way. Outside and low, he lays off of it. 1 ball, 1 strike. They've done a beautiful job with the ballpark here in St. Louis, and it is in tip-top shape and very, very attractive. Of course, in right field, which is the Real hitting target for the left-hand batters. The screen stretches from the foul pole out to right center. Anything off the screen is in play. Swing and a miss on a slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Down the left field line to the foul pole is 351 feet. In left center to the bleachers, 379. To the gardens out behind the green batter's eye in center field, 425. In right center where the screen drops off, 354. 310 down the right field line to the pole and the screen. Outside and low, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Felix Mantilla. Tonight's game has a particular nostalgic flavor for one of the, not only one, but 2 of the New York Met coaches, Rogers Hornsby and Sally Hemus, who both managed this ball club. Taken low, ball 3, 3-2. As far back as 1925, the Raja directed the Cardinals to the National League pennant and a World Series championship. And of course, year before last, it was Sally who took over the Redbirds, who were sagging, and drove them to a third-place finish. Full count now, 3-2 on Mantilla. Jackson double pups. The infield and the outfield straight away. Tapped foul off to the left. No play, and the count remains the same. St. Louis relying heavily this year on 2 comparative newcomers. Both saw some service last year, but in the true sense of the word, this will be their first full year, and that would be Gene Oliver and the shortstop Julio Gotay. A ground ball hit down to third. Kenny Boyer takes it out of the dirt, straightens up, throws in time, and there are 2 away. Now here's Charlie Neal coming up. Charlie batting third in the order. He looked great all through spring training. Charlie in tip-top shape, and he's hoping to bounce back to the form that he had 2 years ago when he was without question considered the number 1 second baseman in the National League. Here's the windup pitched by Jackson. A drive in the air toward right center field. Musial is hurrying over there. He's in front of it and makes the catch for the out. Mighty slow going in the outfield. Stan started to slip around a little bit, but he slowed up and had time to get there. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. Let's go down in order in their half of the first inning. So the score in the middle of the first inning is the New York Mets 0 and the St. Louis Cardinals coming to bat. Last half of the first inning here in St. Louis, and the Cardinals will be coming up against Roger Craig. Roger has a lifetime record against the Cardinals of 8 wins and 6 losses. Kurt Flood, the center fielder, will be leading off against Roger Craig. Last year was a good one for the speedy Flood, right-hand hitter. Kurt hit .322. He was out hit only by Ken Boyer on the Cardinal Ball Club. 24 years old, from Houston, Texas. The wind-up and pitch to him. A strike on the outside corner. Roger Craig on the mound for the Mets. Roger has been the number 1 pitcher in the eyes of Casey Stengel since the very first day of spring training. And every outing during the spring bore that out. Now the wind-up, pitch on the way. Just off the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last year against the Cardinals, Roger Craig won 1 and lost 1. The game he lost, by the way, was to Larry Jackson. Along toward the middle of the season when Jackson started his comeback. Pitching 1-1. A fly ball hit high in the air to center field. Richie Ashburn drifts to his left. He's under it. Puts it away for the out. 1 away, nobody on in the last half of the first inning. And the hitter now will be Julian Javier, the second baseman. Cardinals think they have a real star in Julian Javier. Last year he hit .279 with the Cardinals. Now setting up the Mets defensively, Don Zimmer at third, Felix Mantilla at short, Charlie Neal at second, and Gil Hodges at first. Craig into his windup, the pitch to Javier. The right-hand batter tries to bunt and misses, strike 1. In the outfield for the Mets, Frank Thomas in left field, Richie Ashburn in center. Around in right field, Gus Bell. Roger Craig on the mound, and Hobie Landreth, veteran of 11 campaigns in the National League, working behind the plate. Javier came up through the Pittsburgh Pirate organization. He starts his third season now with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was traded by Pittsburgh to the Cardinals along with Ed Bauta for Vinegar Ben Marzell and Dick Gray. That trade took place in early 1960. The Cardinals are mighty satisfied with the trade. Now the wind-up pitch by Roger Craig. A swing and a miss on a slow breaking ball. Strike two. No score, last half of inning number one. One out and nobody on. Temperature 55 degrees. Everybody really sweating it out all day long, hoping that no rain would fall, and it didn't. Had it rained any at all today, it would have knocked this game out because this field just couldn't stand any water now. Now Roger Wines, here's his pitch. Look out, he has to hit the dirt to get out of the way, and he made him wiggle. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A high hard one. Got away from Roger, and Julian Javier had to get out of the way in a hurry. Roger Craig, tall, rangy right-hander with a world of determination and pitching know-how. He was delighted to get a chance to pitch for the New York Mets. He worked hard all winter prior to reporting to spring training, and he is in perfect shape. That's nice for the hole. The ball takes it back in, and Javier is on with a single drilled through the hole into left field. So there is the initial base hit of the ball game. Now the hitter is Bill White, the first baseman. Big Bill White, he hit .286 last year, a 6-footer from Rock Hill, Missouri. Left-hand batter, and he was a particular nemesis for Roger Craig last season. Here's the pitch by Roger. A little bit low, taken, ball one. Don Zimmer, even with the bag, but wide of the line at third, and Felix Mantilla shaded towards second. Ashburn a very deep center field and around toward right center. Fell about 2 strides off the warning path in deep right. Gil Hodges holds against the speedy Julian Javier. He can really fly. Now throw to first as Craig keeps an eye on him. To first once again. Roger Craig on the mound for the Mets. Roger was born in Durham, North Carolina. For the last 3 years, he's made his home in Long Beach, California. He started out 12 years ago at Newport News. Craig now a 7-year veteran with a lifetime record of 49 wins and 38 losses. Now Roger makes the 1-second stop. Time is called by Bill White, and he steps out of the batter's box. In '59, when the Dodgers won the pennant, time and again, it was Roger Craig who strolled in to pitch the big game. In the big pressure game of them all, when the Cubs had to be beaten, Roger took to the mound and was in command all the way. And now he takes on the responsibility of the big opening game here in St. Louis. Next pitch, ground ball through the hole into right field for a base hit. Javier on second, he's flying on to third, and the Cardinals have runners on first and third. Rounder hit by Bill White, just beyond the reach of Gil Hodges, who tried to make a backhand play on it. Dan Musial is up to hit. Now Don Zimmer comes over from third to talk for a moment to Roger Craig. Dan Musial, who virtually owns the National League record book. Runners on first and third, 1 out. Charlie Neal and Felix Mantilla setting up, hoping for a shot at a double play. Inside and low, it's ball one. Low breaking ball thrown by Craig. Musial, after 20 years, has a lifetime average of glittering .333. The outfield deep and around toward right. No score, last half of the first, Cardinals threatening. Next pitch. Off the outside edge, Musial takes it. And it's 2 balls and no strikes on Stan the Man. Manager Johnny Keene running his ball club off the lines at third with Harry Walker coaching at first. Now throw to first by Craig, not in time. Bill White easily getting back. Craig up in pitching position, delivers. Grounded foul down the first baseline, no play. Now Hobie Landreth moves out toward the mound to get together with Roger Craig. Last year, Stan played 123 games at .288. But he hit 15 home runs and he knocked 70 runs in. During his brilliant 20-year career, Musial has hit 444 home runs. Now Craig up in pitching position, a 2-1 delivery, outside, ball 3, and now it's 3-1 on Musial. Roger Craig, 6'4" right-hander, trying to pitch out of a jam here in the last half of the first inning. A throw to first, not in time. Bill White hurrying back. Javier, the lead runner on third, Bill White on first. Now the pitch thrown. The runner goes towards second. A fly ball hits the short left field. Thomas coming hard. It drops for a base hit. In the score comes Javier, and the Cardinals go in front 1-0. Stan Musial, a Texas League base hit to short left field. Hot fly that landed in between Felix Mantilla and Frank Thomas. Javier comes in to score. The Cardinals lead 1-0. Warm-up action in the New York Mets bullpen. Bob Moorhead, a right-hander, starts getting ready. 3 hits in a row now for the Cardinals. Now the batter is Ken Boyer. He's led the Cardinal offense for the last 4 years. Balk, and a balk is called on Roger Craig. Roger turned to throw to first, but Gil Hodges was not over there covering. He realized he couldn't throw. He held up, and it's a balk. Moving White to third and Musial to second. Roger perhaps a little bit upset by the anxiety of the opening ball game and of the 3 hits in a row by the St. Louis Cardinals. Now Gil Hodges comes over from first to talk to Roger Craig. Have runners on second and third, 1 out. They have 1 run in. Last of the first inning, Boyer the hitter. Now Hobie across behind the plate, signs for the pitch. Ashburn strides a bit toward left center against Ken Boyer, right-hand hitter with a lot of power. Craig swings into his windup. Here's the pitch on the way. Outside and low, it's ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Ken Boyer. Last year, Ken hit .329. Led the Cardinals in hitting. Here's the pitch on the way. Outside and low, ball 2. Minnie Minoso, the on-deck batter, and then Gene Oliver. The Redbirds feel they have a strong bat in every position in their batting order this year. For they feel that Gene Oliver, the catcher, and Julio Gotay, the shortstop, both will hit well. Pitching 2-0. Strike called on the outside corner to Boyer. 2 balls and a strike. Roger Craig, normally a very fast worker on the mound, taking plenty of time as he tries to pitch out of a tough jam the last half of the first inning. Craig winds and pitches. A ground ball slowly hits the third. Zimmer has but one play. He fires to first in time for the out, and a run is in. Bill White crossing the plate on the slow bounder. So actually, the last two hitters, Musial and Boyer, both great hitters, have been taken off stride by Roger Craig, but Musial blooped one in for a hit to left field, and Boyer tapped a slow roller that was hit so slow that Zimmer's only play was to first base. And now Minnie Minoso is up. Minnie Minoso. Veteran American League star for Cleveland and the White Sox, who came to the Cardinals in the swamp for Joe Cunningham. Right-hand hitter waiting, and the pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Minnie, after a dozen campaigns in the American League, a lifetime 300 hitter. He's an exciting ball player to watch. Like the Mets' Don Zimmer, he's a scrapper all the way. He always gives you that big head-first slide in trying to get that extra base. Minnie really crowds the plate. And he's frequently punked by pitches, but he's willing to take that. Now the pitch on the way. Inside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two runs are in. The Cardinals lead 2-0. We're in the last half of the first inning. Ryan Gold, Extra Dry, your radio host from St. Louis. We certainly hope you're enjoying it. Now the 1-1 pitch. He tried to hold up on the swing, and Tom Gorman says he did check up in time. 2 balls and a strike. Stan Musial on second. There are 2 away, last half of the first inning. Now Craig with a long look in. Kicks the leg, delivers. A high pop foul behind the plate. Landry puts the mask to the side. Obie's Zimmer waiting, and he grabs it for the out that retires the side. So actually, Craig, the last 3 hitters he faced, Musial, Boyer, and Minoso, did an outstanding job. But the St. Louis Cardinals scored 2 runs. There were 3 hits. No errors. 1 man left on. At the end of 1, the score, the St. Louis Cardinals 2, and the New York Mets, nothing. Frank Thomas will be leading off against Larry Jackson in the top half of the second. The Mets hoping to dig in and go to work and get the 2 runs back. Fastball inside and high. It's ball 1. Johnny Keane and his pitching coach, Harry Paulette, both feel that Larry Jackson can have a great year and be the bell cow of the pitching staff. Jackson, the 30-year-old right-hander, winds and pitches a ground smash to short. Julio Gotay is up with it, pegs to White in time for the out. He almost made his throw too wide, but White, with a long stretch, went out to get it. One away, nobody on. That'll bring up Gus Bell. The Chicago Cubs and Houston Colts are underway in their game in Houston. Glenn Hobby pitching for the Cubs and Hal Woodishick for the Houston Colt 45s. Cubs did not score in the first. Breaking ball outside to Gus Bell, ball 1. Otherwise, in the National League tonight, Cincinnati at Los Angeles and Milwaukee at San Francisco. A day game between the Phillies and Pittsburgh was postponed to rain. The only day game played was in the American League, where the Red Sox defeated Cleveland 4-0 on a 4-hit shutout by Bill Monbouquet. A smash it hard, a base hit up the middle for Gus Bell. And the New York Mets have their first hit of the campaign, and it was a clean one by Gus Bell up the middle. Now, while we're waiting for Gil Hodges to step in, let's step out for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. The New York Mets are hitting against Larry Jackson in the top of the second. Gus Bell has just drilled a single to center field. And now the hitter is 38-year-old Gil Hodges. Here's the pitch by Jackson. A blazer that's in there for a call strike. Gil starting the year just 8 home runs behind Ralph Kiner for the number 10 spot in the all-time home run derby. Breaking breaking ball over, a strike on the outside corner. He was threading a needle with that one. Gill, a 16-year veteran with a lifetime average of 274. Gill has a good chance to join the 2,000 hit club this year. One away, one on. The two-strike pitch by Jackson, and he pops the ball up on the left side of the infield. Kenny Boyer in toward the mound is waiting under it, and Boyer takes it for the out. Now there are two away, a runner on first, Gus Bell, and coming on to hit will be Don Zimmer. Cardinals 2, New York Mets nothing. We're in the top half of the second. Detroit and Washington postponed rain in Washington. They are underway in Kansas City. The Minnesota Twins nothing, Kansas City A's nothing at the end of one, and that's Camilo Pascual against Wyatt. Now Jackson eyes the runner, then pitches. Swing and a miss on a curve, strike one. Zip led the New York Met hitters throughout spring training. Don got off to a great start for the Chicago Cubs last year. He hit extremely well the first half of the year, and he had a number of timely home runs. Jackson's pitch, a ground smash over the mound, over second, a base hit to center field. Bell around second will hold up there as Kurt Flood flips the ball back in. And the Mets now on singles by Gus Bell and Don Zimmer have two men on. Now coming on to hit will be Hobie Landra. Hobie had the honor of being the first player selected by the New York Mets in the expansion draft of last October 10th. Hobie, originally from Decatur, Illinois, is a 12-year veteran. Hobie, a left-hand hitter, and the Cardinal outfield shades just a little bit around toward right. Hemus on the coaching lines at third, and Cookie Lavagetto on the lines at first. The Mets trailing 2-0 now have the tying runs posted with two men down. Curveballing Larry Jackson makes the 1 second stop, kicks the leg, delivers. He starts him off with a fastball, but it's outside. 1 ball and no strikes. The Cardinals, after this game, will have an off day tomorrow, and then they'll be in Chicago on Friday. The Mets will be coming home to open a 4-game weekend series against Pittsburgh. Opening day Friday, a day game Saturday, and our big doubleheader with Pittsburgh on Sunday. Pitching, a high fly ball, not too deep, out the short center field. Everybody running for it, and it's Javier, the second baseman, who grabs it, holds on to it as Kurt Flood barrels into him, coming up from behind. But Javier holds on to it, and the side is retired. A pop fly to short center field. Flood at the last moment tried to sidestep and get out of the way, but he crashed into Javier, not too hard. Nobody hurt on the play, and the side is out. No runs, 2 hits. No errors, and 2 left on. And now at the end of an inning and a half, the score, the Cardinals 2 and the Mets nothing. Now Gene Oliver leads off in the last half of the second, facing Roger Craig. Grounded foul down the third baseline, no play. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball over, a beauty by Craig. 2-strike count on strapping Gene Oliver. Oliver last year hit 40 home runs, 36 in the Coast League and 4 with the Cardinals. And they think he's going to become a real good hitter. Outside and low, Hobie digging it out of the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gene Oliver is from Moline, Illinois. He has the size for it. He's 6'2", weighs 215 pounds. 27 years old. Next pitch to him, swing, and a miss. He struck him out. And Craig with a big motion and a changeup really fooled Oliver on that one. So Roger hangs up his first strikeout of the game. One out and nobody on. One away, nobody on. The batter now is Julio Gotay, the shortstop. Last year, Julio Gotay played at San Juan and then later at Charleston when the franchise moved, and he had a good year in AAA. He had 307. He was in 10 games with the Cardinals. Outside and low, it's ball one. They have turned over the shortstop job to Gotay, and as the old saying goes in baseball, to win a pennant, you must be strong down the middle, and so Gotay, along with Gene Oliver behind the plate, assume much of the responsibility of whether or not the Cardinals will be a very successful ball club this year. Craig winding the pitch to Gotay. Outside and low, ball 2, 2-0. Cardinals 2, Mets nothing. We're in the last half of the second. Now Craig cranks up. Ground ball hit down to third. Zimmer racing in. He's up with it. Throws to first in time, and Gotay is out. Slow grounder, and Zimmer had to race in for it. 2 up and 2 set aside by Craig, and that brings up Larry Jackson. Red Shandy has been added to the active roster of the St. Louis Cardinals. 2 outs and nobody on. Here's Jackson. Tonight for Larry Jackson marks the third time he has been honored by pitching the opening game for the Cardinals. A high foul, well hit. Left field back goes Thomas. He may have room. He's near the barrier, makes the catch. Right up against the wall in deep left field. Frank Thomas pulls it in. That ball was well hit by Larry Jackson. He almost put that one into the seats in the bleachers in left center. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. At the end of 2 innings, the score, the St. Louis Cardinals 2 and the New York Mets nothing. Now we're all set to go here in the third inning. The Mets coming up, hoping to get a couple of runs back, and all set to step in and paint the word picture for you. And best of luck, Ralph, as we swing into the big new season. Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob Murphy, and all set to go here for the Mets. Roger Craig against Larry Jackson, both from the right-hand side. 2-0 game, St. Louis. First pitch to Roger, swing and a miss, strike one. Cardinals picked up 2 runs in the first inning. Top of the third right now, Roger Craig, the batter. Jackson back with a fastball, called strike 2. So Larry Jackson on top of Roger Craig. No balls and 2 strikes. It'll be Roger Craig, Richie Ashburn, and Felix Mantilla here in the top of the third inning. Jackson back, catches the outside corner, got him looking, strike 3. So Jackson picks up his first strikeout of the ball game. Roger Craig going down, and the batter stepping in is Richie Ashburn. Richie flied out to center field in his first time at bat in this National League season. Last year hit .257 for the Chicago Cubs, has a lifetime batting average of .308. Twice has led the National League in batting with .338 in 1955 and .350 in 1958. Left-handed batter, outfield shifting over to the left side. Ken Boyer right on top of third base and just about a step in. Gotay deep in the hole at the shortstop position. First pitch to Richie, taken at the knees, a curveball, strike 1. Minnie Minoso in left field, way over towards the left field side near the foul line. Kurt Flood in center field, over in left center field. 1 strike pitch to Richie is called strike 2 as Jackson working quickly here, picks up 2 quick strikes. Larry Jackson last year won 14 while losing 11 ball games, got off to a very slow start, then won 11 out of his next 12 starts. Has a lifetime record of 85 wins and 75 losses. 30 years old, he's the number 1 right-hander. Now the 2-strike pitch to Ashburn. Hit down through the hole in the left field, a base hit, and Richie gets his first base hit of the 1962 season. That puts a runner at first base and brings up Felix Mantilla. Well, Richie had to thread the needle. He had about 15 feet to hit that one between the third baseman and the shortstop, and he did. He hit it sharply on the ground in the left field. So it's hit number 3, picked up by the New York Mets. And coming down now, Felix Mantilla, who grounded out to the third baseman. Last year, hit .215 for Milwaukee as a utility ball player. Has a lifetime average of .231. Now out on the mound, Jackson talking with the shortstop, Gotay, and the second baseman, Javier. And they're evidently going over who will cover if a double play situation comes up as far as the pitcher's concerned. Normally, the second baseman or the shortstop, either one designated before the ball game, will give a sign to the other ball player as to who will cover on each pitch. They shift around depending actually on the speed of the pitch, the fastball or the curveball. Ashburn with a good-sized lead at first base draws a throw, but he gets back in time. Mantilla, right-hander, deep in the box. Jackson looking, throws home. It's high for ball 1. On deck, Charlie Neal. Coaching at third base, Solly Hemus giving the sign to the batter as Felix Mantilla looks down to see what's going on. Score 2-0 in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals, top of the third. Jackson checking Ashburn at first. There's a ball fouled away. Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The field condition here at First Stadium is not good. Yesterday's opener postponed because of rain, and it was actually mainly due to the field condition being so wet that the game could not be played. That's the first opener that's been postponed in St. Louis in 25 years. 1-1 count on Mantilla. Jackson checking Ashburn at first. Comes to the plate. Curveball, it's high. Ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Felix playing in his 7th Major League season. Now Gotay comes on in to talk to Jackson once more. This is the 87th National League opener. First game was played way back in 1876 when Boston beat Philadelphia 6-5. Couple of scores on the big board in left center field. Houston 2, the Cubs nothing. That's at the end of 2. Minnesota nothing, Kansas City nothing at the end of 2. Right here, it's 2-0 Cardinals, top of the third. Now set to go, a check in the swing. It's up high, ball 3. So Jackson now behind 3 balls and 1 strike. Ashburn at first base, 1 man out. No wind at all at this point. Earlier in the ball game, it was blowing in slightly from left field. In fact, it held up a real strong bit by Larry Jackson for a home run off of Roger Craig. Both teams with 3 hits. Ashburn checking the coach at first, Cookie Lavagetto, looking for the steal. He goes. The pitch is swung on, foul down in the dirt off of the foot of the catcher, Gene Oliver. And time is called. That'll send Ashburn back as the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now the trainer coming out to take a look at the right foot of the catcher. Jackson there talking it over with him, and now Bill White coming in to see what's going on. Cardinals jumped out to a quick lead in the first inning when after Kurt Flood had flied out to center field, Javier singled to left. Bill White then moved him down to second base with a single. Then he scored on a bloop single by Stan Musial. And then Bill White, who had gone over to third base on a box, scored on an infield out by Ken Boyer. The only 2 runs of the ball game. Now 3-2 pitch to Felix Mantilla. Ashburn goes. The pitch is swung on, foul back in the screen. So they kind of hold at 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Fine crowd on hand. It was estimated that they would draw approximately 20,000 people for the opening night. And in spite of the fact that the temperature has to be pretty close to 50 degrees, we have about that many out here. Bleachers in left field and in right field, practically full. Now the 3-2 setup. Mantilla the batter. Ashburn being held. Now goes. The pitch is hit on the ground and foul. So once again, the count will stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Ashburn, who had trouble all spring with his legs, now getting a good workout running on the 3-2 pitch. For the ball game, he said his leg, actually both legs, have come along very nicely, and he's in good shape to start the season. Mets had very little injury trouble during spring training. 3-2. Mantilla to batter. Ashburn does not go. The pitch is high, and Mantilla gets first base free. So Jackson gives up his first walk of the ball game. And that moves Ashburn 90 feet down to second base, puts Mantilla on first. He's a potential time run, and the batter is Charlie Neal. Neal fired out to right field, actually a semi-line drive. He is 0 for 1, has a lifetime average of 265. Last year with the Los Angeles Dodgers hit 235. Richie Ashburn at second base. At first base, Mantilla. At the plate, Charlie Neal. Infield playing straightaway, outfield straightaway. The on-deck batter, Frank Thomas. One man down, the score 2-0, St. Louis Cardinals. Jackson checking. Ashburn at second, comes inside with a slider, ball one. Neal moving away, falls down on the ground. It wasn't too close. 1 ball, no strikes. Charlie Neal had a fine spring for the Mets. And manager Casey Stengel says you got to figure this man in the first division as a second baseman. He can play on any team. Next pitch, foul away, strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Charlie Neal can play shortstop, although the Mets have not used him there at any time. Ashburn looking down at Solly Hemus at third base. For a sign. Mantilla at first base has a short lead. Bill White playing behind him. 1 man out. Jackson checking Ashburn. Now comes with a 1-1 pitch. It's up high. Ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 out. Jackson is 30 years old, 6'2", weighs 190 pounds. The 2-1 pitch to Neal is inside, ball 3. So now Jackson a pitch away from loading them up. 3 balls and 1 strike. Jackson last year got off to a very slow start when he had his jaw broken with a piece of a flying bat from the bat of Duke Snider. At the halfway mark, he had won 3 games while losing 8. Then he came on to win 11 of his next 12 and ended up with a season of 14-11. Now the 3-1 pitch to Charlie Neal. On the ground, through into the right field, a base hit. Ashburn rounding third will come on in. Mantilla is going over to third base. The throw is not cut off by Gotay, but Charlie Neal holds it first, and the Mets have scored their first run of the 1962 season and their first run in their history in the National League play. It's a 2-1 game. Runners at first and third base, and the batter is Frank Thomas. Charlie Neal with a base hit through the hole in the right field. Picks up his first run batted into the 1962 season. The game is 2-1 in favor of the Cardinals, and Frank Thomas steps in. Frank was out on the ground at the shortstop in his first try. Last year hit .281 for the Milwaukee Braves and the Chicago Cubs. He had 27 home runs and 73 runs batted in. He has a lifetime average of .268. Charlie Neal at first base. At second base, at third base, Felix Mantilla. And the first pitch to Thomas is swung on a miss, strike 1. Good curveball by Larry Jackson on the outside corner. Two to 1 Cardinals, top of the third inning. Thomas, a cleanup batter, playing in left field, stands right on top of the plate. You can't get any closer. Jackson looks in for the sign and backs off the mound, asks for another. Gene Oliver, the catcher, gives it to him. He's set. Neal with a short lead at first base. 1 out, and the pitch to Thomas is hit out to center field, deep to center field. Flood is there. Neal has tagged up at first base. The runner third tagged up, has come on in, and that ties it up at 2-2. So Frank Thomas on a sacrifice fly to deep center field ties the game up at 2 apiece. As Mantilla scores from third base, and on the throw into second base, Charlie Neal went back into first. That brings up Gus Bell. Gus got the first base hit for the Mets in the second inning, a single to center field. Gus batted .255. A throw to first base. Neal dives back in. Got back in safely. Jackson with a good move to first base. Jackson with a good move to first base. Gus, a left-handed batter. And the first pitch to him, a fastball. It's outside. Ball one. Two runs are in. The game all tied up at 2-2, top of the third inning. Gus playing his 13th Major League season. Outfield slightly to right. Again, that quick throw to first base, and Neal goes back in on his hands and knees this time. The play is not quite that close, but Neal is taking no chances. Time called as Gus steps out of the batter's box. The on-deck batter is Gil Hodges. Larry Jackson, a right-hander now, checking Neal at first. Still looking. Now comes to the plate. It's hit to right field, high in the air. Musial back on the warning track, has room, and he makes the catch. And so now with the score all tied, the New York Mets score their first two runs of the 1962 season. In the inning for the Mets, 2 runs on 2 bases, no errors, 1 man left, and the score at the end of 2 1/2 innings of play. The New York Mets 2, the St. Louis Cardinals 2. Coming up now, jazz, smooth, suave, and sweet. Why don't you listen?
My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. It's not bitter, not sweet. It's a dry flavor treat. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer? Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer?
Like the song says, people everywhere sing out, "My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer." And Dry tells you why. Yes, sir. Dry tells you Rheingold has a brisk, bright, clean taste all of its own. Discover the difference Dry makes. Pour yourself a tall, refreshing glass of Rheingold Extra Dry. Enjoy it along right with a ball game. Well, now while we have a quick second, we pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady.
All set to go, the bottom half of the third, and the first pitch to the leadoff man for the Cardinals, Curt Flood, is outside, ball one. On the mound for the New York Mets, Roger Craig. The score of the game, 2-2, bottom half of the third inning. Florida right-hander lines one by Zimmer in the left field, a base hit. Coming in now, Thomas picks it up, holds him there, and Flood has his first base hit of the 1962 season. Hit number 4 off Roger Craig. The hits are all even. Flood had previously flied out to center field as the leadoff batter for the Cardinals. He is now 1 for 2, and the batter stepping on Julian Javier. Javier with a base hit to left field, and his first time up, he scored a run. First one of the ball game. The right-handed batter hit .279 last year to lead all second basemen in the National League in batting. Roger Craig, the right-hander. Flood can fly at first base. He's got a good lead. 2-2 game. First pitch is tried. Attempted a bunt down the third base line. Foul back in the Landers' glove. Strike one. Javier, a very fast man. Zimmer at third base playing very shallow. Outfield straightaway. And both Charlie Neal and Mantilla short at their respective positions of second base and shortstop. Flood at first base, very speedy. The batter, Javier, very speedy. Roger Craig into the stretch, checking the runner at first base. And to the plate. There goes Flood. A pitch out. The throw to second base is on the wrong side, and Flood gets in. So Curt Flood with a stolen base. As the throw had to be a perfect throw to get him. The throw was on the wrong side of the bag. No play made. And the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. That puts the potential go-ahead run at second base with no one out in the bottom half of the third. Craig now into the Stretch into the plate. A smash into left field on the ground. A base hit. Here comes Flood around third base. Thomas up. Does not throw. As Flood stops there with no one out, and the throw goes into second base. So now the Cardinals, with a score tied 2-2, have runners at first and third base with no one out, and the batter's Bill White. White picked up a single in his only time at bat in the game. He is 1 for 1. Left-handed batter now. Zimmer is talking to Roger Craig in the mound. Hit number 5 picked up by the St. Louis Cardinals. Bill White, who hit .286 last year, 20 home runs, 90 runs batted in. He has a lifetime average of .281. Big, strong left-handed batter acquired from the San Francisco Giants. Runners at first and third, the infield back. First pitch is down the dirt. Lander keeps it in front of him. Ball 1. Curveball that was too low. Now time is called as Tom Gorman walks out in front of home plate. He wants the ball looked at. It is looked at by second base umpire Ed Sudol. 2-2 game. Cardinals now in the bottom half of the third with runners at first and third base. No one out. Bill White the batter. The on-deck batter, Stan Musial. Now Craig set to the plate. Swung on, a foul tip down in the dirt, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Roger Craig, 6'4", making his debut for the New York Mets. Last year was 5-6 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He appeared in 40 games. Now the pitch to Bill White, too low, ball 2. Craig missing with a slider down below the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike. Zimmer playing back at third base. They're going for the double play. They'll give up the run. First base, Hodges puts the tag on, but Javier is back easily. Now Craig calls time. He wants a new ball. And Tom Gorman gives it to him. And Craig says, I want another one. He changes again. Pitcher can get a new ball at any time in a ball game. A batter can only request that a ball be put in play. Minnesota has gone out in front of Kansas City in the top of the 4th, 2-0. Right here, it's 2-2. Craig on the mound, set to go. At the end of 3, Houston 2, Chicago 0. Into the stretch, and the pitch to Bill White, line to right field. That puts the Cardinals out in front, 3-2. Here comes Bell's throw across the diamond. It's cut off by Mantilla. It's out of the air, goes into third base, and White ends up at first. So Bill White picks up his second single in the ball game. He drives in his first run. The score now, the St. Louis Cardinals 3, the New York Mets 2. Well, there was no doubt about that base hit. It was a line shot to right field. Now warming up in the bullpen, Craig Moorhead for the New York Mets. Hit number 6 for the Cardinals. And the batter, Stan Musial. Stan drove in the first run of the game when he dropped a single in front of Frank Thomas in left field. And this fellow holds the highest lifetime batting average of any active player in Major League Ball, .333. Last year he had .288 for the Cardinals. And he has a total of 444 home runs in his Major League career. Left-handed batter, and the first pitch to Stan is outside. A fastball. Ball 1. Javier at third base. At first base, Bill White. Craig's control has not been too sharp tonight. Pitch back to Stan. Line to right field. Bell is going over near the wall. Cuts it off near the corner. A runner's in. Here comes White to third base. He could have second base. If you're scoring, it went from the right fielder, Gus Bell, to Charlie Neal to the catcher, Landrum. 9-4 to 2. A run is in, and the score of the ball game is now 4-2 St. Louis Cardinals, and Stan Musial picks up his second hit of the ball game and his second run batted in. It took a perfect throw by Charlie Neal in the second base cutoff position to nail Bill White trying to score from first base, and it was perfect. Landrum got the ball just as White arrived. The tag was unnecessary because the throw was in perfect position. And now the batter is Ken Boyer. Boyer drove in a run when he grounded out to Zimmer. Takes down low, ball one. He is 0 for 1. Credit Stan Musial with the double on the base hit. Pitch to Boyer is outside, ball 2. So Roger Craig now, with Stan Musial at second base, has a 2-0 count on Ken Boyer, right-handed batter. Boyer last year at .329. He had 24 home runs, 95 runs batted in. He has a lifetime batting average of .299. Craig throws a foul tip, strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The St. Louis Cardinals, bottom half of the third inning. Moyet still throwing in the bullpen for the New York Mets, as Roger Craig looks in for the sign on the 2-1 pitch. Musial with a short lead at second base. The ball is on the ground to the shortstop side. Zimmer cuts it off. A fine play. The throw to Hodges in time. Don Zimmer cutting across in front of the shortstop. Mantilla made a one-handed glove catch of the hard ground ball. Turned through in time to get Boyer first for out number 2. On the play, Stan Musial held at second base, and the batter stepping in is Manny Minoso. Minoso fouled out in the first inning. Right-handed batter who hit .280 for the Chicago White Sox last year. He has a lifetime average of .304. Musial at second base with 2 outs. Craig throws. It's outside. Ball 1. Slider missing off the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Craig looking for the sign from Hobie Landreth. Throws too low, ball 2. Slider down below the knees. 2 balls and no strikes. Roger Craig wearing 38 on the mound for the New York Mets. At first base is Gil Hodges. Charlie Neal at second. What a fine play he just pulled off to get White at home on a relay throw. Felix Mantilla at shortstop. Don Zimmer at third. Frank Thomas in left field. Richie Ashburn in center field. Gus Bell at right field. And Hobie Landreth giving the 2-0 sign to Roger Craig. And also lines one to right field. Bell coming on, can't get to it. Takes it on the first bounce. Here comes the throw to home. Musial is going to score. And now they have Minoso on the rundown. It's over to Charlie Neal, back to the pitcher. And now Zimmer makes the play, and they say that possibly there's an argument on the play, but it is not ruled obstruction at all. And if you're scoring on the play, another run has come into the ball game. It's 5-2 in favor of the Mets, as Minoso gets a single to drive in his first run. And the scoring on the rundown play from the right fielder Gus Bell to the first baseman Gil Hodges to the second baseman Charlie Neal, and back to Don Zimmer at first base. So it goes 9-3 to 4-5. And in the inning for the St. Louis Cardinals, they pick up 3 runs on 5 base hits, and the score at the end of 3 complete innings of play, the St. Louis Cardinals 5, the New York Mets 2. Well, in this first ball game of the 1962 season, we've seen plenty of action already. And the New York Mets have scored their first 2 runs ever. The first base hit picked up by a Met in a ball game in their history was by Gus Bell in the second inning. special announcement that the run scored by Stan Musial was his 1,859th run scored in his Major League career, and it ties the all-time National League record held by Mel Ott. Well, that's going to be one of probably many records, National League all-time records, that Stan Musial will set this year. He has a chance to set the all-time record in hits. That's held by Hannes Wagner. The all-time record in at-bats, which also is held by Hannes Wagner. The all-time record of runs batted in, held by Mel Ott. The all-time record of games played, held by Wagner. The all-time record of Major League base hits, long hits, held by Babe Ruth. And the all-time record of total bases held by Cobb. Stan Musial just tying one of the all-time records. Now we're at the top of the fourth. And the first batter, Gil Hodges, takes outside from Larry Jackson. Larry Jackson working in the top of the fourth inning. The score of the ball game, 5-2 in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals, as they have gone out in front in the third with 3 big runs. Gil popped up to the third baseman. He is 0 for 1. Right-hander back, and there's a drive deep to left field. This one could go all the way. Manoso's back by the ball. He can't get to it. A home run. Gil Hodges was a home run for the New York Mets. Their first one, that's 362 for Gil Hodges, the first run of this ball game. And the score of the game is now 5-3. That was a deep drive to left field against the wind that went in about 14 rows in the area, about 358 feet away from home plate. And now Don Zimmer steps in. 5-3 in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals. Don has a single and one time up. Takes high, ball 1. Right-handed batter against Larry Jackson. That home run by Gil Hodges has just placed him ahead of Joe DiMaggio on the all-time home run list. A swing and a foul, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, Don Zimmer. Moorhead still throwing in the bullpen for the New York Mets. Now Larry Jackson with his 1-1 pitch to the right-handed batter Zimmer. A hard ground ball down to Javier at second base. He moves to his right, comes up, throws in time. Out number 1. One man out. The batter is Hobie Landreth, left-handed batter for the New York Mets. He bats in the 8th position. He popped up to the second baseman in his first try in 1962. There's a drive to right field down the right field line, but going foul. Landreth picking on a slow curveball, lined it down the right field line, but just a little bit too far into foul territory. Strike 1. The field dimensions here at Busch Stadium, 310 feet down the right field line. In right center, 354 feet. But running from the 310 mark to the 354 mark, a high screen, so a home run has to travel about 30 feet in the air above the ground level. Jackson back outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. In straightaway center field, it's 422 feet. In left center field, 379 feet. And down the left field line, 351. This is a left-handed hitter's ballpark. Jackson into the windup. And back to Landreth with the 1-1 pitch. A let up that's foul away, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch to Landreth outside, ball 2. Fastball just missing off the corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 5-3. St. Louis Cardinals. Bottom make that the top of the 4th inning. Jackson back and a fly ball out to left field. Coming on slowly, Manoso, he's there. Pounds his glove once and makes the catch. So Manoso makes his first put out in the National League, and we have a pinch hitter coming up for the New York Mets. Boucher now coming in to bat for the New York Mets. Ed Boucher, and that means that Roger Craig will go out of the ball game, and warming up in the bullpen for the Mets, Craig Moorhead. Bob Moorhead, number 22, will come in the game in place of Roger Craig. Boucher takes it inside, ball one. Boucher, a left-handed batter. Jackson back, and it's on the knees. Strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ed Boucher. Two men out to score the ball game. 5-3 in favor of the Cardinals. And the 1-1 pitch to Boucher way inside. It gets by Oliver going back to the screen, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Boucher last year with the Chicago Cubs came up with the Philadelphia Phillies. Now Jackson looking for the sign from Gene Oliver. Has it. And the 2-1 pitch is high outside, ball 3. So Boucher, the first pitch hitter used by the Mets in their history. 3 balls, 1 strike. Jackson says, give me another sign on the 3-1 count. Still looking. Now sets into the windup. Back to the plate, high outside, ball 4. So Boucher picks up a walk. That's Jackson's second walk in the ball game. And that puts a runner at first base and brings up Richie Ashburn. Richie 1 for 2. He singled to left field and scored a run in the 3rd inning, and he flied out to center field. He represents the potential tying run. The on-deck batter, Felix Mantilla. Bill White at first base, holding Boucher on. And the Cardinals shifting around towards the left on Ashburn. Jackson's first pitch is a strike called. Ashburn decoying the bunt, moved on down the line as though to bunt. He pulled Boyer in quickly from third base. No balls and 1 strike. Jackson checking the runner at first, back to the plate. It's a slider that's over, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Richie Ashburn, the batter. Defensively for the St. Louis Cardinals, Oliver behind home plate. First base, Bill White. He has now moved behind Boucher. At second base, Javier. At shortstop, Gotay. At third base, Ken Boyer. But also Flood and Musial in the outfield, left to right. The 2-strike pitch. Line down to White at first base on the first hop. He makes a fine play, goes over, taps the bag himself, and that retires the side. That ball was well hit. And in the inning for the New York Mets, they pick up 1 run on their first home run. Gil Hodges, 362nd. 1 base hit. No errors, no one left in the score at the end of 3 1/2 innings of play. The St. Louis Cardinals 5, the New York Mets 3. You know, being New York's largest selling beer, you'd figure that Rheingold had quite a story behind it. But actually, it can be summed up in 2 words. Yes, 2 little words, extra dry. Those 2 little words tell you why Rheingold has a flavor all its own. An extra refreshing flavor other beers just don't have. Rheingold's extra dry brewing is long, slow, and costly, but it makes a big difference in taste. The flavor of Rheingold comes through brisk and bright and clean. It's beer as beer should taste. Any wonder, then, that millions of people say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer? But discover the difference that dry makes yourself. Enjoy fine cold Rheingold right along with the game. Just open up or order up Rheingold Extra Dry. Well, we're moving to the bottom half of the 4th inning with the score of the ball game 5-3 in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals as they come to bat. And now in the ball game for the Mets, Bob Moorhead. big, tall right-hander, and he's taking his warm-up pitches. Bob Moorhead, the right-hander now, completing the tosses. He'll be working to Gene Oliver here in the bottom half of the fourth. Last year, Moorhead was at Jersey City. He had a 5-6 record. He appeared in 21 games. And he had a fine earned average of 3.33. Comes from Pennsylvania. He's 6'1", 170 pounds. And his first pitch to Oliver, just too low, ball one. Roger Craig started the ball game for the Mets. He worked the first 3 innings, giving up the 5 runs on 7 hits. He struck out 1. He walked none. So Moorhead will work to Oliver, Gotay, and Jackson here in the bottom of the 4th inning. There's a base hit. The line caught by Mantilla and almost tears him away as he catches the ball after jumping high in the air. Fine play by Felix Mantilla on a shot by the catcher, Gene Oliver. So Moorhead picks up his first out, and the batter stepping in, Julio Gotay. Big jaw right-handed batter. Score of the game, it's 5-3, St. Louis. Bob just outside, ball one with a fastball. Moorhead throws a good sinking fastball. Has a long sweeping motion with his delivery. He was very effective all spring. Now looking in for the sign. Slider that's outside, ball 2. Gotay grounded out to the third baseman Zimmer in his only try. And this fellow holds the key to the St. Louis Cardinals' pennant hope. Young shortstop that they are depending upon to really hold them together in the infield. 2-ball pitch on the ground off the end of the bat down to the second baseman Neal. He comes in, fields it by the grass, throws over to Hodges in time, and Gotay is down. So Moorhead now 2 up and 2 down, and the batter coming on, Larry Jackson. Jackson fried out deep to left field in his first try. Moving Thomas right back to the warning track about 350 feet from home plate. Now time is called as Landreth, Mantilla, Zimmer, and Neal all talk it over with Bob Moorhead on the mound. Larry Jackson, a right-handed batter, stepping in the batter's box. Score of the game, 5-3 St. Louis, bottom half of the 4th inning. Minnesota now has gone out in front of Kansas City, 3-0, top of the 5th inning. Moorhead catches with a curveball, strike 1 to Jackson. No balls, 1 strike. Jackson, a right-handed batter. Slider outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals scored 2 in the first. The Mets tied it up with 2 in the top of the 3rd. And the Cardinals went out in front in the bottom of the 3rd with 3. And Gil Hodges made it 5-3 with his first home run of the 62 season, number 362 in his career. 1-1 pitch in the air to shallow center field. Coming on is Ashburn. He's signaling. He's there and makes the catch. And that does it in the 4th for the St. Louis Cardinals. 3 up and 3 down the score at the end of 4. The St. Louis Cardinals 5, the New York Mets 3. And now as we move to the 5th inning of the ball game, here is Bob Murphy.
Thank you, Ralph. Here is the summary over the first 4 innings. First, the line score for the Cardinals, 5 runs on 8 hits. They've had only 1 man left on. For the New York Mets, 3 runs on 5 hits. The Mets have had 4 left on. Roger Craig in 3 innings gave up 5 runs, 8 hits, walked none, and struck out 1. It marked the first time since the beginning of spring training that Craig has been hit hard. Larry Jackson in 4 innings has given up 3 runs on 5 base hits. For the New York Mets, Charlie Neal, Frank Thomas, and Gil Hodges have driven home the runs. And for the St. Louis Cardinals, Stan Musial has driven 2 runs in. Kenny Boyer 1, Bill White 1, and Minnie Minoso 1. Tonight after the game, the New York Mets will be flying back to New York via their chartered airliner. One and all, very excited about the big welcome and the big reception in the form of the parade down Lower Broadway and the welcoming from Mayor Wagner at City Hall tomorrow about noon. After that, the New York Mets will go out to the Polo Grounds to familiarize themselves with the Polo Grounds with the workout to get all set for the home opener Friday against Pittsburgh. Remember now, tickets are on sale at Grand Central Station, 42nd and Vanderbilt, the Long Island waiting room of the Penn Station and the Polo Grounds. And ticket reservations may be made at all Howard Clothes stores. In the fifth inning, it's Felix Mantilla leading off against Larry Jackson. He starts him off with a curve, but it bends outside and low. 1 ball and no strikes. Felix has grounded out third to first. His last time up, he drew a walk and later scored on a long outfield fly by Frank Thomas. Now Jackson cranks up. Down comes the pitch. A strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. One thing that has looked good already for the New York Mets has been the fact that the 3 men being counted on by Casey Stengel to provide a long ball, Frank Thomas, Gus Bell, and Gil Hodges, all 3 have hit a long one. Inside and low to Mantilla. He lays off of it. 2 balls and a strike. Thomas hit a ball very deep to center field. That was a sacrifice fly squaring Mantilla. Gil Hodges, as you would expect Gil to do, what a great old pro, belting a home run in his first game as a New York Met. And Gus Bell hit one deep to right field that Musial backed up to take. Pitching 2-1. Call strike on the outside corner. He picked off the outside edge with that good slider. The count is even now at 2-2. Charlie Neal on deck and then Frank Thomas. The Mets 2 runs behind as they hit in the top of the 5th inning. Nobody on, nobody out. Top half of the 5th. Larry Jackson pitching 2-2. A drive in the air to center field. Coming in is Curt Flood, and he makes the catch for the out. Hard hit line drive straight away by Mantilla. Charlie Neal, 6-year veteran. Whacks it foul off to the right, up over the roof and out of play, and the count strike 1. Charlie came to the New York Mets in a deal involving Lee Walls. The Mets had paid $125,000 for Lee Wall in the expansion draft and traded him on to the Dodgers to get the valuable Charlie Neal. Neal's lifetime batting average after 6 years is .265. Inside and high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rookie right-hander Ray Washburn may get the starting call from Johnny Keane to pitch the second game for the Redbirds when they help the Chicago Cubs open the home season in Chicago. The 1-1 delivery. A high fly ball hit deep to left field. Back to Espinosa. He's back to the wall. It is going. It is gone. A home run. Charlie Neal is around third and on the way home with a home run in the left field bleacher. Now it's 5-4. The Mets trailing by just 1 run. Charlie Neal really tied into that one. For Charlie Neal, he now has 2 for 3, has knocked 2 runs in. Ball landing about a third of the way up in the left field bleachers. Frank Thomas takes a strike on the outside corner. The ball went over the green barrier at the 358-foot mark and left. 3 years ago, in 1959, when the Dodgers won the pennant, Charlie hit 19 home runs and knocked 83 runs in. Jackson winding. Here's his pitch. Swing at a foul tip, strike 2 to Frank Thomas. Now Johnny Keane has sent the sign to the Redbird bullpen, and Ernie Broglio is starting to loosen up. Ernie Broglio, a 20-game winner year before last, is loosening up now in the bullpen for the Redbirds. It's a 5-4 ball game. The Mets 1 behind. Outside and low. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Frank Thomas. Frank 0 for 1 has grounded out short to first. In the third inning, he knocked a run in with a long fly to deep center field. Larry Jackson working ahead of the batter, winds and pitches. A ground ball raked down to third. Ken Boyer charging in, boots the ball, and Thomas is on. It'll be an error charge to third baseman Ken Boyer, and Frank Thomas gets a life. And now the Mets have the tying run on, and Gus Bell coming up. Gus became the first New York Met to get a base hit when he singled to center field in the second inning. And he put Stan Musial right up against the barrier in right field in the third inning to take in his long drive. Left-hand hitters have always loved the short porch and right here in St. Louis. The porch is covered by a screen, and anything off the screen is in play. Down comes the pitch. An overhand fastball in the outside corner, called strike. Two home runs by the New York Mets by Gil Hodges and by Charlie Neal. Bill White holding against the base runner, Frank Thomas. 1 away. The pitch a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gus Bell. Now Gus checking with Sally Hemus. Sally on the lines at third. Cookie Lavichetto coaching at first. Larry Jackson looking into Gene Oliver to get his fan. The outfield deep and around toward right. Here's the pitch on the way. An off-speed delivery, taken outside and low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Gus Bell, 12-year veteran. Gus, after 12 years in the National League, has a lifetime average of 284. He's hit an even 200 homers. Next pitch to him, a high fly ball into left center field. Minnie Minoso moves over, Minnie's under it, and he makes the catch for the out. There are 2 away. 2 down now in the top half of the 5th inning, and coming up will be Gil Hodges. Gil hit a home run, the ball traveling high up into the left field bleachers his last time up. And for Gil, it was the 362nd of his career. The all-time home run derby, Babe Ruth, Jimmy Fox, Ted Williams, Mel Ott, Lou Gehrig, Stan Musial, Duke Snider, Mickey Mantle, Eddie Matthews, Ralph Kiner, and then Gil Hodges. Outside and low, it's ball 1. Ernie Broglio heating up in the bullpen for the Redbirds. The Mets now trailing by just a run, and they have Thomas representing that tying run on first. There are 2 men away. Larry Jackson makes the 1-second stop. Now the pitch. Hit foul off the big end of the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike on Gil Hodges. Don Summer waiting in the on-deck circle, hoping that Gil can save him a turn at bat here in the top of the 5th inning. Now Frank Thomas edging away from first. Julio Gotay over in the hole at short against Hodges. Fouled back into the mesh. No play in the count. 1-2 on Gil. Gil just very recently celebrated his 38th birthday. Certainly one of the class gentlemen in the history of the game. Now Gene Oliver, across behind the plate, sets up the target. The 1-2 delivery, foul tipped. Ball cannot be handled by Gene Oliver, and Hodges stays in there with a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Manager Johnny Keane pulling all the stops as Ernie Broglio getting ready in the bullpen. Cardinals 5 and the Mets 4, top of the 5th inning. Jackson working very deliberately. Now he's up in pitching position. Around comes the right arm. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Second strikeout for Larry Jackson as he gets Gil Hodges. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on. So we've come halfway, and at the end of 4 1/2 innings, the score now, the Cardinals 5, and the New York Mets 4. And now here's a... Now before Curt Flood steps in to hit in the last of the 5th, we step out for station identification.
At the 810 spot on your radio dial, this is WGY Schenectady.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. It's the last half of inning number 5 now with center fielder Curt Flood. The Cardinal leadoff batter facing blonde right-hander Bob Moorhead. Blazing fastball that next to bat handle just ticked it right into Hobie's glove, strike 1. Ball was out of the strike zone, but as Curt Flood was falling away from the plate, it nicked the bat handle. Julian Javier is on deck, and then Bill White, the top trio in the Redbird batting order, home half of the 5th inning. The windup by Moorhead, down comes his pitch, and it's fouled off the fist, back upstairs and out of play. Hey, a real good grab up here in the Skyview seats by one of the outfielders. Bob Moorhead, who pitched at Jersey City the last 2 years, he was a real sleeper in spring training for the New York Mets. He pitched himself right onto the ball club. And the other pitchers, particularly the veterans, are very high on this hard-throwing young right-hander's chances. The 2-strike pitch. Ground ball hit toward short. It may go through the hole. It does for a base hit. Mantilla tried to break and go over in the hole for the backhand play, but it was beyond his reach. And Flood is on with his second hit of the game. That is the 9th hit in the game for St. Louis. And it brings up Julian Javier. Javier, the speedy second baseman, has 2 for 2 going. Single to left field in the first, later scored. A single in the 3rd inning, and later scored. Now Javier, after reaching the batter's box, turns and goes back to get the rosin bag. This is one of those rather chilly nights and a good night to work with the big handle bat, because when you're working with those slender bat handles, it can be a little bit painful. Don Zimmer moving in close at 3rd. It's a 5-4 game. The Redbirds lead by 1. Flood, a fast man, leads off first. Here's the pitch. Ground ball tapped down the first baseline, and it is a fair ball. Hodges up, and it steps on the bag. This is going to bring on an argument. Bill White, charging up from the on-deck circle, challenges Tom Gorman about it. Both umpires, Tom Gorman and Bill Tchaikovsky, waiting until the last moment to see when Gil handled the ball before making the call. Flood goes on over to second base. 1 man away, and the hitter now is Bill White. That ball was hit right down the line, not hit very hard. Gil came up to play it. He was about 2 steps toward home from first base, then went back to make the unassisted play there on Javier. Bill White, 2 for 2 in the game, with Curt Flood now in scoring position. White has single to right, both times up, driven 1 run in. Pitch to him by Moorhead is outside, ball 1. Bob Moorhead pitched winter baseball, and he reported to spring training in top shape. Oftentimes, a pitcher will not work too many innings in the winter circuits, but Moorhead was a busy pitcher down there. The outfield deep and around toward right against Bill White, who has good power. The kick of the leg, down comes the arm. A high infield pop-up out toward second base. Mantilla, right behind second, takes it for the out. Now there are 2 away in the last half of inning number 5, and here comes Stan the man. Stan wasting no time to continue to write his name into the National League record book. He doubled in the 3rd inning and later scored on the base hit by Minnie Minoso, and when he did, it marked 1,859 runs scored by Stan the Man to tie the all-time National League record held by Mel Ott. Musial 2 for 2 in the game. with 2 runs batted in. Ball 1 outside and low. We'll give you a complete rundown of the scores of the other games at the end of the inning. Now, Bob Moorhead, the 24-year-old right-hander from Lemoyne, Pennsylvania, gets his sign from Hobie Landreth. Kurt Flood leading off second, 2 men down. The pitch to Musial. Outside and low, ball 2, 2-0. They have run into rain down in Houston, and that game is being held up. They played 3 innings before the rains came, so that is not an official ball game as yet. Bob Moorhead behind on the count to Stan Musial, 2-0. Cardinals lead 5-4, last half of the 5th inning. Ball 3. Musial laying off of it, and now it's 3-0. Kenny Boyer on deck, and then Benny Minoso. Roger Craig worked the first 3 innings. Roger gave up 5 runs, 8 hits. Bob Moorhead has now hurled 1 2/3 innings, allowed no runs, 1 hit. Now Moorhead, the 3-0 delivery. Ball 4, it's inside, and Musial walks. He threw Stan a breaking ball on 3-0, and now that brings up the right-hand hitter, Ken Boyer. Boyer was robbed of a hit on a fine fielding effort by Don Summer in the 3rd inning. So Boyer is 0 for 2 in the game. Led the Cardinal attack last year, hitting 329. And now young Bob Moorhead will be working hard to get the Cardinals out and keep the Mets close in this game. They trail by 1. 2 home runs in the game, both hit by the Mets, by Charlie Neal and by Gil Hodges. Bob Moorhead taking his time. Now looks back to check the lead runner, Kurt Flood. Flood leading off second, Musial off first. Gil Hodges back at fielding depth, and the outfield around toward left. Here's the pitch by Moorhead, way outside, a breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Ken Boyer. Frank Thomas in left field is deep against Boyer. Pulled a bit over toward the line. The pitch by Moorhead. Inside and low, and he gets behind on Boyer, 2-0. Now Casey Stengel comes up toward the top of the dugout to give things a serious glance. Bob Moorhead is up into pitching position. 2 runners take a lead. Down comes the pitch, way outside. Hobie had to go off to his right for that one. And suddenly the plate has started to move around on Bob Moorhead, and he goes behind 3-0 on Boyer. He walked Musial on 4 pitches. He has a tough hitter coming up in Benny Minoso. Pitching 3-0. Strike 1 call, 3-1. Now Kenny Boyer turns his head to check with his manager, Johnny Keene, who runs his ball club off the coaching lines at third. Let's keep a close eye on the runners now and see if Johnny Keene puts a play on. Flood leading off second, Stan Musial leading off first, 2 men down. Redbirds 5 and the Mets 4 here in the last half of the 5th inning. Now Moorhead is in agreement with Hobie Landreth. The runners take a lead. Here's the pitch on the way. A line drive hit deep toward right field. It's hit toward the screen. It's bouncing off the screen. Flood is coming in to score. Musial will be held up at third by Johnny Keene, and it's a double for Kenny Boyer to the opposite field. 1 pitch, a line drive against the screen in right field. Ball was hit over toward the line. Bell had no chance whatsoever. Musial goes around to third, and now it is 6-4. The Cardinals out in front. Runners on second and third. 2 men down. Minnie Minoso up. And here is a mighty big spot in this ball game for the New York Mets. Minoso singled to right his last time up. Moorhead out of his windup. Down comes the pitch. Too high, it's ball 1. Then he has 1 for 2, has knocked 1 run in. He singled to right, scoring Musial in the third inning, but when he swept too far around, the ball was cut off by Gil Hodges, and they got him in the ensuing rundown with Don Zimmer coming all the way from third over to first to take the throw from Charlie Neal and tag Aminoso as he was trying to get back into first. Foul to cut back upstairs and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike on Minoso. Cardinals now have 6 runs on 10 hits. The New York Mets 4 runs on 6 base hits. But here is a key spot here. Cardinals lead by 2, and they'd like to lead by 4. They have 2 in scoring position. Moorhead cranks up. Down comes the pitch. Inside, taken across the letters by Minoso. 2 balls and a strike. Now Hovey will go out and have a talk with Bob Moorhead. Minnie Minoso, a real baseball warrior, right-hand batter, hitting out of that crouch. He hangs out over the inside corner of that plate. Bob Moorhead winds. Down comes the pitch. Strike, a good fastball on the outside edge. And now the count is even at 2-2 on Minoso. Stan Musial leading off third. Ken Boyer off second. 2 men down as Moorhead checks in with Hobie Landrum. The infield and the outfield straight away. Pitching 2-2. Ball 3, it's up high, and the string is out 3-2. Gene Oliver is waiting on deck. Full count 3-2 on Minnie Minoso. The windup by Moorhead. Here's the pitch. He's struck him out swinging. Beauty of a breaking ball thrown by Bob Moorhead, and in a real clutch spot, he fans a tough hitter in Minnie Minoso. For the Cardinals in their half of the 5th inning, they score 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, and 2 were left on. At the end of 5, the score in St. Louis, the Redbirds 6, and the New York Mets 4. On Taylor, the losing pitcher. Don Zimmer leading off, taps a slow grounder down to third. Boyer up with it. The long throw to White is in time, and Zimmer's out. 1 away in the top of the 6th inning, and that brings up Hobie Landrum. Rounding out the American League schedule, Detroit and Washington rained out in the nation's capital. After 5.5 innings, Camilo Pascual has Kansas City shut out with the Minnesota Twins leading the A's 3-0. Hobie 0 for 2 in the game has flied to center and flied to left. His last time up, he had a hard line drive into the seats, but it was fouled by about 15 yards. Strike 1 call. Larry Jackson wheeling it right in there. One out, nobody on. Top of the 6th inning, Mets trailing by 2. Right-hander Larry Jackson winds and pitches, and is popped up off the 5th, back toward the backstop, hoping for a play is Gene Oliver, but it's going to be out of his reach. Gene Oliver giving that one a chase all the way to the backstop, but it was out of his reach. Now Casey Stengel has sent the sign to the bullpen, and Herb Moford will start loosening up. Herb Moford, who last year was a 15-game winner with the Rochester Red Wings in the International League, is cranking up in the mid bullpen under the supervision of Red Ruffing. Bob Moorhead is scheduled up next. A ground ball past the mound. Going to his right, Javier. He's up with it. Throws to White in time, and there are 2 down. Ball hit almost up the middle, but Javier was playing, hoping to hit the ball up the middle. So he went gliding to his right to handle a grounder and throw him out. Now there are 2 away, nobody on. Bob Moorhead is scheduled up. And Moorhead will come up to bat. Bob Moorhead stepping in for his first time at bat. Bob now has pitched 2 innings, allowed 1 run, given up 2 hits. Pitched by Larry Jackson is outside and low, ball 1. Well, the Mets will not be in St. Louis again for almost 3 months. The next time they play here, very late July, about the 27th. Call strike on the outside corner. Of course, with the expansion in the National League, you now visit the other cities only 3 times. And it becomes increasingly important to try and get the games in the threatening weather. The 1-1 pitch, and he pops the ball up out towards second base. Who's going to get it? Coming in is Gotay and Javier makes the catch on the edge of the infield grass in front of second. So Larry Jackson puts together his strongest inning of the entire ball game as he gets the tail end of the batting order in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. At the end of 5.5 innings, the score, the St. Louis Cardinals 6 and the New York Mets 4. Last half of the 6th inning, the Redbirds will have the tail end of their batting order coming up against Bob Moorhead with Gene Oliver, Julio Gotay, and Larry Jackson. Right after the game, the Mets fly back to New York, and they're all certainly looking forward to the big welcome in New York, the parade down Lower Broadway, and the reception at City Hall. Festivities highlighting about noon. Gene Oliver 0 for 2 in the game, right-hand hitter. Line drive hit deep down the left field line. Running for it is Frank Thomas. He won't be able to get it. It's in for a base hit. He grabs it on a hop. The throw coming in, relayed towards second, not in time. A double for Gene Oliver. Cardinals wearing their hitting shoes in this game tonight. Gene Oliver getting his first hit, a double down the left field line. That brings up the shortstop, Julio Gotay. He's 0 for 2 in the game. Thrown out by Don Zimmer and thrown out by Charlie Neal. That is the 3rd hit given up in relief by Bob Moorhead. Last half of the 6th. Cardinals 6, Mets 4. Now the stretch by Moorhead, they look for the bunt. A full swing and a foul ball wafted back upstairs and out of play. Gil Hodges and Don Zimmer both anticipating a possible sacrifice bunt. Larry Jackson on deck. Jackson has been up twice and both times hit fly balls, one extremely deep. He made a strong bid for a home run back in the 2nd. Thomas caught the ball up against the barrier. Now Bob Moorhead makes the 1-second stop. Kicks the leg, delivers. Ground ball hits the second base. Neal has it through his leg. Around third and holding up is Gene Oliver as Charlie Neal cocks that arm to make a throw. Johnny Keene, coaching on the lines at third, held him up. It'll be an error charge to Charlie Neal. Charlie just about had that one in his glove, and it slithered off, went through his legs, and rolled into short right field. They showed a lot of respect for Charlie Neal's arm on that one, remembering the great throw he made earlier in the ball game to nail Bill White at home plate. And so now the situation becomes serious for the New York Mets. Runners on first and third, nobody out. The infield getting together with Bob Moorhead to go over the possibilities. Julio Gotay reaching safely on the air. Oliver had broken from second across toward third, and Charlie was perhaps stinking a glance to see if he had any possibility for a play on him. Now the Mets defensively will have to be alive for anything as Jackson steps in. Runners on first and third, nobody out. Zimmer even with the bag at third. Here's the stretch. And the pitch on the way. Full swing and a miss, strike one. Jackson 0 for 2. Fly to deep left field, fly to center. Right-hand hitter. Charlie Neal and Felix Mantilla set up a double play depth. Hodges holds against the runner. Gotay. And Zim is even with the bag, wide of the line at third. The outfielders playing toward the alleys. Here's the pitch on the way. Fouled back upstairs and out of play. That time, both Joe Hodges and Don Zimmer felt that the squeeze play might be on, and they broke for home. Now Moorhead working with a 2-strike count on Larry Jackson. Center fielder Kurt Flood on deck, and then Julian Javier. Crowd reaction in the background. That foul ball lodged itself just beyond the reach of one of the fans, and he was really trying to make his arm stretch out to get it. Moorhead ready, delivers, and it's a fly ball hit the short center field. It may go in for a base hit. Here comes Ashburn. But it's in for a Texas League hit. The play is going across to third, not in time. And on to second on the throw goes Larry Jackson. Ashburn tried for Gotay, who went from first to third. But on the attempt to get Gotay at third, Jackson takes second on the throw to third. And now the Cardinals have a 3-run lead, 7-4. Runners on second and third, nobody out. Give Larry Jackson a base hit, a Texas Leaguer into shallow right center field. And now the sign goes down for Herb Mulford to start warming up again. So Larry Jackson gets a run batted in. And the hitter is Kurt Flood. Flood has 2 for 3 in the game, both singles in the third and again in the fifth. Has scored twice. And now the Mets are bringing the infield up tight, with runners on second and third and nobody out. Gotay on third, Jackson leading off second. Bob Moorhead into his windup. Now the pitch. And it's fouled off to the right. It will be out of play. Every player in the Cardinal batting order has hit safely with the exception of Julio Gotay. Moorhead winding, the pitch on the way. Just a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kurt Flood, who hit .322 last year, facing Bob Moorhead with the infield drawn in tight. A defensive move that always places the hitter at an advantage, but something you have to do in this spot. Pitching 1-1. And the ball is hit high in the air to right center field, and it's deep. Back goes Gus Bell. He's getting there. Gus makes the catch in deep right center. Gotay tags and comes in to score, and Jackson goes from second over to third after the grab. That was a long one to right center field, run down by Gus Bell. Gotay coming in. Give Kurt Flood a run batted in. 6 of the Cardinals now have knocked a run in. 2 runs are in here in the last half of the 6th inning, and the Cardinals now have a 4-run lead. They are out in front 8-4. Only 1 away, Jackson on third, so the infield remains in close as Julian Javier steps in to hit. Javier, the second baseman, right-hand batter, has 2 for 3 in the game. Has scored twice. Moorhead winds and pitches. Right in there, strike 1 call. St. Louis 8, the Mets 4, last half of the 6th inning. Now Bob Moorhead has his sign from Hobie Landreth. The windup and pitch, a pitch out, nothing was on. Hobie Landreth thought he sent something going in the form of a squeeze, and he had Moorhead pitch out. 1 ball and 1 strike. Javier is out of the batter's box, getting together on the signs with his manager, Johnny Keene, who's on the lines at third. Larry Jackson, the runner on third, one down. Moorhead with the full windup. Down comes the pitch. Again they pitch out. And it was the base running perhaps of Larry Jackson that caused the Mets to feel that the squeeze might be on. He came breaking down that line and slammed on the brakes. 2 balls and a strike now on Javier. With the infield in, 2 balls and a strike on Javier. Javier deep in the box, spins from the waist. Foul ball coming back toward our broadcast booth and out of play. So the count is 2-2. Time and gets out of the batter's box. Let's trying to pin Jackson on third as Moorhead cranks up the 2-2 pitch. A drive hit hard into left field for a base hit. That brings Jackson in to score, and Javier is on with his third hit of the game. And now it's 9-4 in favor of the Redbirds. And before Bill White comes up to hit, let's pause for station identification.
At the 810 spot on your radio dial, this is WGY Schenectady.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner from St. Louis, where the red-hot Redbirds have widened their lead now to 9-4. This has been a real team effort for the Cardinals. 7 of their 9 players now have knocked in a run. Musial and Boyer each have driven in 2. 3 runs are in here in the last half of the 6th inning. It's now 9-4, and the hitter is Bill White. White has 2 for 3 in the game, and he's driven home a run. Strong left-hand hitter waiting. There goes the runner, a swing and a miss, a pick by Hobie. The slide, the ball hits him in the back. Karam's out into left field. Javier is on his way to third. Javier goes on to third when the low throw struck him in the back, and Karam down in the left field. So it'll be a stolen base for Javier, and an error charge to Hobie Landreth. Stolen base by Javier. An error charge to Hobie on the low throw that hit the runner and went out into left field, enabling him to scramble to his feet and go on to third. Third, the batter is Bill White. Moorhead winds and pitches. A high fly hit down the left field line is twisting toward foul ground after to Zimmer, and it's beyond the reach of Don, but it lands in foul ground and out of play. Down the left field line, Don Landrum, very fine defensive outfielder, is warming up his arm, so we may see him in action defensively. The Cardinals breaking through for 3 runs here in the 6th inning. They have a runner on third with 1 down, and they now lead 9-4. Dan Musial on deck, and then Ken Boyer. Let's have the left side of the infield up and the right side of the infield back against Bill White. Inside and high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bob Moorhead got off impressively when he came into the game. He got them out in order in the 4th inning. Gave up 1 run in the 5th inning and has given up 3 here in the 6th. Now the 1-2 pitch. Too high, and it's 2-2 on Bill White. In the opener at the Polo Grounds on Friday, either Al Jackson or Sherman Roadblock Jones will be pitching for the New York Mets against Pittsburgh. The Pirates were rained out of their game today with the Phillies. They won yesterday on a shutout by Bob Friend. A high fly ball hit down the right field line. Gus Bell moving toward the line is getting under it. Javier tags up. The catch is made. Here comes Javier. Here comes the throw. Not in time. The runner's in. Sacrifice fly for Bill White. That gives White his second RBI. It's a 4-run inning now for the Redbirds, and they lead the New York Mets by a score of 10-4 in the last of the sixth inning. Now Stan Musial is the seventh man up of the inning, and Stan comes up with 2 down and the bases clear. Stan has a perfect night going with 2 for 2 and a walk. Right in there on a breaking ball, strike one call. Musial has single to left, driving in a run, double to right, driving in a run, and drawn a walk. Inside, driving him back from the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. They have not resumed as yet in the ball game down at Houston. Houston led 2-0 at the end of 3 when it started to rain. Moorhead's pitch to Musial. A line drive hit hard toward the right field corner. Bell is after it. Can't make the catch. It breaks off his glove after he dives for it. Musial is on his way to second to throw. The slide. Out at second base. Just Bell to Felix Mantilla. Just throwing from the deep right field corner. And Musial is out. A great throw by Gus Bell from the right field corner. And Musial is out trying for a double. The peg coming into Felix Mantilla. So in the sixth inning, the Cardinals score 4 runs. 4 hits, 2 errors, and nobody left on. At the end of 6, the score now, the Cardinals 9 and the Mets 4. So we'll be going along to the 7th inning and stepping in now to carry us along to the 7th inning and the remainder of the way. It's always a real pleasure to introduce Lindsey Nelson.
Thanks very much, Bob Murphy. The Cardinals that time hopping on young Bob Moorhead for a big inning, getting 4 here to stretch their lead on opening night in St. Louis. And the New York Mets will be coming on here in the top half of the 7th inning with Richie Ashburn, Felix Mantilla, and Charlie Neal coming up. In case you've joined us along the way, Larry Jackson started for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he has come all the way. Only one of those 4 runs was earned in that inning, as the Mets committed 2 errors. And Don Landrum has gone into right field now in place of Stan Musial. Don Landrum relieving Stan the Man. 41-year-old Stan Musial being relieved by Don Landrum as we go to the 7th inning. So in case you're keeping a scorecard, insert Landrum in the cleanup slot in place of Musial in your Cardinal batting order. And now Richie Ashburn is up to lead off for the New York Mets. Here's a pitch. He tries to bunt it and fouls it off for strike 1. Richie Ashburn trying to get on anyway, trying to use his speed, tried to dump the ball on the third baseline. That brought Ken Boyer in out of gallop from his position at third. However, it went foul, and Richie Ashburn comes back. Ashburn is 1 for 3. He flied to center, single to left, and grounded out to first base. He scored 1 run this evening also. Again, Larry Jackson into the windup. Pitch goes outside for a ball. It's 1-1 now. Larry Jackson looking in to get the sign from rookie catcher Gene Oliver. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's in there for a call, strike 2. Bob Gibson and Ernie Broglio throwing in the bullpen now for the St. Louis Cardinals. Bob Gibson and Ernie Broglio are both right-handers.
ran back about as far as he could go, came skidding into the barrier and one-handed the ball. So there's one away, and Felix Mantilla, right-hand batter's coming up. He has been up twice officially without a hit. He drew one walk here and scored one run. One man out, nobody on. As Jackson winds and fires. As it drives down the left field line, a base hit could be for extra bases. Mantilla turns first, heads for second. Minoso up with the ball, relays it in. His throw goes to third base. As going in, standing at second is Mantilla with a double down the left field line. So that is the first hit of this season of 1962 for shortstop Felix Mantilla on behalf of the New York Mets. They have a runner at second, one man out, and Charlie Neal coming up. Neal flat to right, single to drive in a run and hit a home run. 2 for 3, has driven in 2 runs, had one sparkling play in the field. Charlie Neal's a right-hand batter. It goes outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to count to Neal. Mantilla leads off the bag at second. They play Neal pretty much straight away as far as the outfield is concerned. Here's a drive going straight away into center field, driving in for a base hit. Kurt Flood up for the ball, and holding at third is Felix Mantilla as the throw is cut off at the mound by first baseman Bill White. The cutoff man coming across to take Flood's throw. As Mantilla held at third. By cutting it off, of course, it prevented Charlie Neal from passing on the throw in. So Neal has his third base hit of the night, a single to center. Mantilla has moved to third. The Mets have runners at first and third, one man out. Frank Thomas is coming up. The score is 10-4. The Cardinals leading here in the top half of the 7th inning in St. Louis, Missouri, opening night. Mantilla leads at third. Charlie Neal still on the bag at first, waiting until Larry Jackson has the sign. Now Neal takes his lead. The stretch position at the mound and the pitch. Ground ball going to Jackson. He plays to second for 1. The relay to first. Double play. The side is retired. Mike Thomas hitting a double play. It goes 1-4-3 if you're scoring it. Julian Javier, who was playing over behind the bag on full hit of Frank Thomas, took the relay and fired right on across for the double play. So in the top half of the 7th inning, the New York Mets get no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And so at the end of 6 1/2 innings of play, the score is St. Louis Cardinals 10 and the New York Mets 4. Well, it's the 7th inning stretch again. A lot of the folks here are getting up the stretch. Wonder what the fans back in New York are doing, Ralph.
Well, that's easy, Lindsay. I bet a good many of them are stretching out for glasses of Rheingold Extra Dry.
True enough. And comes the 7th inning or any inning, more fans stretch out for Rheingold than for any other beer.
Oh, that's sure enough. And Rheingold, you know, is New York's favorite beer.
Yes, sir. It's very easy to see why. In fact, dry tells you why. Yes, extra dry tells you why Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Brisk and bright, clean, clear through. Rheingold is brewed of the choicest ingredients, brewed the long, slow, costly way. That's what makes Rheingold Extra Dry such a wonderful beer. Wonderful because it's so much more refreshing. More refreshing because it's extra dry. Right, Ralph?
Right, Lindsay. So, folks, why not enjoy a fine cold glass of Rheingold along with our Diamond Doing? Join the millions who say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer.
Now the New York Mets have brought Herb Mulford on in relief of Bob Moorhead. Herb Mulford, a right-hander and veteran Major League performer, is in now. On the mound, firing in the warm-up toss to Hobie Landis. So Bob Moorhead went a total of 3 innings, in which he gave up 5 runs. On 6 hits, he struck out 1, and he walked 1. Now Herb Mulford is in, and will be facing Ken Boyer, the third baseman. Boyer grounded out third to first, and double to right field to drive in a run in the 5th inning. A big blow. Mulford's first pitch is on the way, and it's in there for a call strike. Mulford's a side armor, and left the wheel out there and pitch out of the uniform. Facing big Ken Boyer. There's the windup and the pitch. Directly at Neal, and he's out. Charlie Neal taking the line drive off the bat of Ken Boyer. And there's one away, and that will bring up Minnie Minoso. Herb Mulford. Herb Mulford initially came to the Major League with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1955. Later he was with the Detroit Tigers in 1958. His pitch to Minoso. Swing and miss, strike one. Mulford was with the Boston Red Sox in 1959. Last year he was with Rochester, where he won 15 games and lost 13. Herb Mulford now pitching. Here's the pitch to Minoso, and a high mounting ground ball to the shortstop. Mancia throws to Hodges in time, and he's out. Minoso hitting a bounding ball into the hole, but shortstop Mancia went to his right, came up with it, fired on to Gil Hodges in time for the out. So they're 2 men away, and that brings up Gene Oliver. Rookie catcher who made a fine catch of a foul ball back against the barrier a moment ago, and he gets the hand as he comes up. He struck out. Line to short, and doubled, and scored 1 run. Mulford is looking in to get the sign from catcher Hobie Landis. Side arms him way outside for a ball. Herb Mulford is 31 years old. Winds and fires. Side armed again, and it's in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. We're in the bottom half of the 7th inning here in St. Louis. Opening night of the 1962 season. 10 teams in the National League. Here's a 1-1 pitch. He checks it and takes outside. For ball 2, it's 2-1. Manny Brolio and Bob Gibson still throwing in the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals as they lead by a score of 10-4 over the New York Mets here. That pitch goes outside for a ball. It's 3-1. In the preseason polls, there were a great many experts who picked the St. Louis Cardinals to win the National League Pennant this year, and in the consensus of all the polls, the Cards were picked as a very definite contender for the National League title. 3-1 pitch, and has a drive going deep to left center field. Going, actually. Got away from Landis at the moment, and he ran it down his lower bat. Julio got that in which way to go, so he bent in, and actually the pitch came in behind him as Hobie Landis managed to knock it down. It's ball 1. The official paid attendance here tonight, 16,147. 16,147 on opening night in St. Louis, Missouri. Leads its curve, and it's fouled off on a play. 1 ball and 1 strike. But here tonight, manager Casey Stengel has gone with the pitching that showed up best during the training season in Florida. Roger Craig was his most dependable starter there, and Bob Moorhead and Herb Mulford were his most impressive relief pitchers during the month, or 6 weeks rather, of spring training. Here's a fly drive into the glove of Gil Hodges at first, and he's out. Julio Gotay lining out to Hodges at first, and so the St. Louis Cardinals are out in the bottom half of the 7th inning with no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. And at the end of 7 full innings of play in St. Louis, Missouri, the score is the St. Louis Cardinals 10 and the New York Mets 4. Go to the top half of the 8th inning. The New York Mets send up Gus Bell as Larry Jackson winds and fires. The pitch goes high for ball 1. Bell has been up 3 times in the 2nd inning. He singled to right center actually, to become the first Mets to get a base hit in National League competition. And in the 3rd he flied to right and he flied to left in the 5th. He's 1-3. Pitches down low for ball. 2-0 to count now to Gus Bell. Bell, of course, big left-hand hitter. Watches inside the ball. It's 3-0. Manager Casey Stengel has not announced his starting pitcher for the opener in New York on Friday. He says it will be Sherman Jones, possibly, if his eye has recovered sufficiently. In Portsmouth, Virginia, on Sunday, he sustained a burned eye trying to... His pitch is in there for a called strike. The end of a match landed in his eye, and he's been incapacitated for a couple of days, but was working out tonight before the ball game and said he was about 95% recovered. So it may very well be Sherman Jones. It's not Al Jackson. At ball 4, and Gus Bell goes down to first base. So the New York Mets have a base runner, and it's the second walk given up this evening by Larry Jackson. Coming to the plate, Gil Hodges, who hit a home run at the top half of the fourth inning to become the first New York Met to hit a home run. Later in the next inning, Charlie Neal became the second Met to homer. That was the 362nd career home run for Gil Hodges, moved him ahead of Joe DiMaggio in the career home run total department. Only 2 right-hand hitters in the history of Major League Baseball has hit more home runs than Gil Hodges. One of them, Jimmy Fox, the other, Ralph Kiner. That pitch is outside for ball. Ralph Kiner is not likely to be improving on his total since he is with us in the broadcasting booth, and will be here all season long to bring you the games of the New York Mets. Castell leads it first. Larry Jackson checks in. Here's the pitch. It's a called strike taken by Gil Hodges. He looks down to Solly Hemus, the coach's series now. Cookie Lavagetto is coaching at first. Cookie's name, of course, is pronounced variously around the major leagues by ball players. They call him Lavagetto, Lavagetta, all sorts of things. So we went to him at Miller Huggins Field the first day of spring training and said, "How do you pronounce your name?" He said, "Lavagetto." Now here is a swing and a foul ball on the first base line. Bill White's giving it a run, and it is going into the stands and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Gil Hodges at the plate. Gil was 38 years old about a week ago. Spent 15 seasons with the Brooklyn and Los Angeles Dodgers. This is his first game in National League competition in any uniform other than that of the Dodgers. Here's a ground ball. It's going foul. Solly Hemus fields it with one hand. Coaching line to third. The count holds it 1 ball and 2 strikes to Gil Hodges. That's the plate for the New York Mets. We have Gus Bell, the base runner, at first, and nobody out. Larry Jackson, the starting pitcher for the Cardinals, is still in there. There's the 1-2 pitch, and there's a ground ball going to shortstop. Gotay has it over to Javier. He's out to relay to first. He's out, double play. So Gil Hodges is hit into a double play from short to second to first. Julio Gotay to Julian Javier to Bill White. That will bring up Don Zimmer. Well, the St. Louis Cardinals got out of the 7th inning with a double play, and now they erase Gus Bell on a double play. Second double play of the night. And it is the second base combination that caused them some concern at the start of the season. Pitch is in there for call strike. If the Cardinals hold up around second base, if shortstop Julio Gotay holds up, and if Gene Oliver can handle the job defensively behind the plate, St. Louis Cardinals very definitely will be in the running. Swinging a foul ball up to that of Don Zimmer, and it's strike 2 to him. Zimmer singled in the second inning. Started out second to first in the 4th, started out third to first in the 6th inning. Top half of the 8th. 2 men out. Here's a swing and a drive going to left. Minoso's coming in. He's there and he takes it to the outer. Line drive to Minoso and left. And the New York Mets are out in the top half of the 8th inning with no runs on, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 7 1/2 innings of play, the score is the St. Louis Cardinals 10 and the New York Mets 4. Cardinals will be sending up pitcher Larry Jackson, Kurt Flood, and Julian Javier. Before we get into that, let's allow our stations to identify themselves. We pause now for station identification.
At the 810 spot on your radio dial, this is WGY Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy in St. Louis, Missouri, as the New York Mets are meeting the St. Louis Cardinals in an opening night game with the Mets representing the city of New York back in the National League once again. And to lead off, the St. Louis Cardinals are going to send up their starting pitcher, who's been there all the way, Larry Jackson. And now Clem Levine is coming to pitch for the New York Mets. Clem Levine, right-hander, Major League veteran, is in to pitch for the New York Mets. Facing opposing pitcher Larry Jackson. Pitch goes outside for a ball. Levine, of course, spent a great many good years with the Brooklyn and Los Angeles Dodgers. Pitch is high for ball two. Then he went to Detroit. And in their pennant-winning season of 1960, the Pittsburgh Pirates brought Levine on, and he was a very valuable asset to them. Was with the Pirates again last year. That pitch goes outside. It is 3-0 now to Larry Jackson. Levine has a sinker and a curveball. It's most effective when he gets it down there low, where he keeps it most of the time. That's a call, strike one. It's 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody out and nobody on. Levine winds and fires, and it's a call, strike 2. 3-2 now. It's 3-2 pitch, and it's a fly ball going out to left center. Ashburn is coming on. He is called. He's under. He's waiting, and Ashburn has it for the out. So Larry Jackson is fly to center. Herb Mulford pitched only 1 inning in relief for the New York Mets. Gave up no runs on 1 hit, a double to Gene Oliver. Now leadoff man Kurt Flood is at the plate. He's 2 for 3 in the sacrifice fly. He's driven in 1 run. Right-hand speedster takes a call, strike 1. The thing for which Clem Levine is most often remembered is the 10-0 shutout he pitched against the New York Giants in the playoff at the end of the 1951 season between the Dodgers and the Giants. Pitches outside for a ball to Flood. And the 10-0 shutout that Levine threw set up the 3rd game in which Bobby Thompson hit his famed home run at the Polo Grounds to win the pennant of 1951 for Leo DeRocher's New York Giants. Their ball inside. It's 2-1. Kurt Flood, 2 for 3 on a sacrifice fly, and 1 run batted in up there. Swings at the curveball and misses. It's 2-2. Nobody on base for the St. Louis Cardinals. Clem Levine is the 4th New York Met pitcher of the evening. This ball outside. That time it's 3-2 now, so the count has gone full to Kurt Flood. Levine had a full count to Larry Jackson, now has a full count to Kurt Flood. Manager Casey Stengel said at the close of the exhibition season he wanted to keep Levine and count on him to give him 1 good inning in relief. There's a ground ball going to shortstop. Now off the chest of Mancia, rolling away. And Levine tried to flag it. It's an error on Felix Mancia. An error charged against Felix Mancia that bounded off his chest. Levine almost flagged it. So the St. Louis Cardinals have a runner on at first. 1 man out, and Julian Javier coming up. Javier has 3 base hits tonight. He has stolen the base, and he has scored 3 runs. Jackson loosening up in the bullpen for the New York Mets. Line into the stretch position. Here's a swing and a foul ball. A little number. It should be trouble. They're going to let it roll and hope and hope and hope. And it's a foul ball. Landers and Levine covered over the ball. And for a moment, Tom Gorman, the umpire, couldn't see. And the moment it got in foul territory, Levine grabbed it. So it is a foul ball. And it's fortunate for the Mets because there would have been no play on Julian Javier, reluctantly coming back to the plate, thinking he had a base hit there. And the box score, one like that looks just as big as one long single banged against the wall. Manager Johnny Keane of the St. Louis Cardinals and manager Casey Stengel of the New York Mets have been loosening up pitchers here this evening, working them for future appearances. Rolio and Gibson were working a moment ago in the bullpen for the Cardinals, and now Al Jackson and Roselock Jones are working for the New York Mets, not with any thoughts to appearances tonight, but simply loosening up, getting a little workout with a thought to the future. And now, actually, manager Johnny Keane's going to go a little further with his warm-up. He's running. There's the pitch. It is down low and a stolen base for Kurt Flood. Actually, Hobie Landis never did get the throw off. As Flood, a speedster, was away and winging, and Landis, in his haste, tried to throw it dropped in, but he scored as a stolen base. So leading at second now, it's Kurt Flood. Dancing around out there a little. There's a curveball coming in low and taken for a ball by Julian Javier. It's 2-1. Kurt Simmons and Ed Fowler are now throwing in the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. Kurt Simmons, counting on him as it started to work about one. Pittsburgh Pirates and the Vinegar Ben Mizell deal year before last. Working in the bullpen. 2 balls, 1 strike. Count out Julian Javier with Kurt Flood leading off the bag at second. Here's the pitch. Change-up taken inside for ball 3. It's 3-1. Slim Levine went 3-2 to Jackson. Got him on a fly to center. Went 3-2 to Flood. He was safe on an error by shortstop Mancia. Now he's gone 3-1 to Julian Javier. Third ball in there, but no strike 2. Javier had started from first base. Comes back now, takes the big end of the bat, looks around, and there's a crowd reaction. But the count is out to 3-2. Cardinals are leading the New York Mets by a score of 10-4 here in St. Louis. Starting pitcher for the Mets was Roger Craig. In case you joined us along the way, he pitched 3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 8 hits, struck out 1, and walked none. Craig is the pitcher of record as far as the New York Mets are concerned. Larry Jackson, of course, who has been the only pitcher for the Cardinals, is their pitcher of record. Manager Johnny Keane running the club from the coaching lines at third base. And Harry Walker coaching at first for the St. Louis Cardinals. Levine is looking in to get the time, but right now Javier is back out of the batter's box again. Count is full. Julian Javier. And now catcher Hobie Landis is going out to the mound. Have a word with Clem Levine. Javier is set, and here's the pitch, and there's a ground ball going to third. It could be trouble. Still across the bare-handed, can't hold on, and it goes as a base hit. A base hit for Julian Javier, moving Flood to third on the play. The slow roll was down the third baseline, and the only play that third baseman Don Zimmer had was an attempt to bare-handed. He gave it the attempt, but couldn't hang on. The ball rolled away from him. Flood came on to third, running on the play, and so now the Cardinals have runners at first and third. And Bill White is coming up. And it's base hit number 4 for second baseman Julian Javier. He is 4 for 5 for the night. Here's Bill White up. He's 2 for 3 in a sacrifice fly. Bill White has driven in 2 runs and scored 1. Left-hand batter. Ball misses outside. Ball 1. Cardinals leading by a score of 10-4 in St. inning here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. One man out. Go to first, not in time. Javier getting back safely. Plenty of speed on the bases for the Cardinals. Houston takes it to the end of 5. Houston leads the Cubs 2-0. As a check swing foul ball out of play off the end of the bat of Bill White. In Los Angeles, at brand new Dodger Stadium, at the end of an inning and a half, there is no score. Cincinnati nothing and the Dodgers nothing. Mo Grabowski is going on Cincinnati, and Sandy Koufax is pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Go to first, not in time. The crowd setting up a cry of go, go, go. They like to see him run on the bases. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bill White with 1 man out. It's going outside. It's ball 2, 2-1. Not a pitch shot, but a clear ball missing outside. And Clem Levine wants another baseball and gets it. Houston goes 45-2, and the Chicago Cubs nothing at the end of 5 innings of play now. Lynn Hobby going for Chicago, and Hal Winshik for the Houston Colt 45. Now it's saying go, 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 and White seats up out of the batter's box. They didn't mean him. They mean Javier, who is his first. Bud is his third. They want to see him go with the double steal. Now Levine steps off the rubber and it's going out to the mound again. That's your Hobie Landa. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. It's White who is talking things over with umpire Tom Gorman right now. Yeah, the cry of go, go, go is set up here in St. Louis. It's 2-1 pitch. Has a broken back down ball to second. Neal has it to Mancia for 1. He's out, and that's all they'll run. It's scored as Flood crosses the plate. No chance for the double play. No relay throw. On left-hand batter Bill White, a broken bat, ground ball, and broken in half, as a matter of fact. Rick Flood crossing the plate with the 11th St. Louis run of the evening. And Don Landrum is coming up now. You'll recall that Landrum replaced Dan Musial in the 7th inning in right field. So Landrum is batting in the cleanup side. He's a left-hand batter. Last year he opened in center field for the St. Louis Cardinals. And Levine is the stretch. Here's the pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. There are 2 men out now. 1 run in this inning for the Cards. This is Landon's first time up in the ballgame. Pitch goes outside. 1-1. Speaking of Landrum opening in center field for the Cardinals last year, the New York Mets have a man on the bench who opened in center field for the Cardinals twice. Bobby Gene Smith. Joe White, the baseman, is first, has a throw to first, not in time. He's back safely. John Simmons playing even with the bag at third against the speed of left-hand batter Don Landrum. Again, Levine stretches. It's pitch. It's outside for ball. It's 2-1 now to Landrum. Before he retired from the game this evening, Stan Musial added 3 base hits to his great total. He was 3 for 3 on a walk and scored 1 run. It's pitched. That's a foul ball out of play. Fielded by Harry Walker down at first in the coaching box there. It's 2-2 count to Landrum. The run that Stan Musial scored tied him for the National League record. The run scored, the record now held jointly with the late Mel Ott. Musial started the 1962 season. His 21st year with the Cardinals tonight, holding 35 National League records with a chance to add about 7 more in a hurry. It's a 2-2 count to Don Landrum. White leads at first. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's a ground ball to the right side. Fielded by Gil Hodges, waves Levine away, makes the play unassisted to retire the side. So Don Landrum has grounded out. Gil Hodges unassisted, and in the bottom half of the 8th inning, the St. Louis Cardinals got 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left. And at the end of 8 full innings of play in St. Louis, the score is the St. Louis Cardinals 11 and the New York Mets 4. And there's a swing of the fly ball off the bat of Hobie Landreth into center field, and Kurt Flood is there and makes the catch for the out. 1 away. So Landreth has fly to center. Here in the top half of the 9th inning. And Jim Marshall's going to be the pinch hitter here. Jim Marshall batting for Clem Labine. Marshall is a left-hand hitter, came to the majors with the Baltimore Orioles, then the Chicago Cubs, then to the San Francisco Giants. One was an expansion draft selection of the New York Mets off the roster of the San Francisco Giants. Jim Marshall. So with 1 man out, Marshall is the pinch hitter. As Larry Jackson winds and fires, he's come all the way, and it's in there for a called strike. Here's a pitch, swing, and a foul ball off the bat of Marshall, so it's a 2-strike count out of him. Larry Jackson taking a moment to massage the new baseball. Now looking in to get the sign. 2 strikes to count to Jim Marshall. Here's the pitch. It misses outside for ball 1. Two strikes with 1 run out and nobody on base. The Mets batting in the top half of the 9th inning of their first game ever in National League competition. Marshall takes the ball high. It's 2-2. Larry Jackson started. He's come all the way for St. Louis. He has struck out 2 and walked 2. He has allowed 8 hits. Here's a foul ball on the ground, down the right field line and out of play. In case you have joined us along the way, the St. Louis Cardinals got off and winging with 2 runs in the bottom half of the 1st inning off Roger Craig. Important factor there was a balk. Opening night jitters on behalf of the New York Mets. Moved a couple of runners up in the scoring position. Stan Musial drove in the first run, and Ken Boyer drove in the second. That pitch misses high and outside. It's 3-2 now to Marshall. Mets came on in the top half of the 3rd inning to tie up the ball game as they got 2 runs on 2 hits. But then the Cardinals came right back in the bottom half of the 3rd to add 3 runs and go out in front and have led since. They got 1 in the 5th and 4 more in the 6th. 1 in the 8th. 3-2 pitch to Marshall, full foul on the ground and out of play down into the New York bullpen. There have been 2 New York home runs this evening. Gil Hodges had 1 and Charlie Neal had 1. Top half of the 9th. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Misses outside and Marshall has walked. So the New York Mets have a base runner here in the top half of the 9th. That is the 3rd walk given up this evening by Larry Jackson. And we'll bring up Richie Ashburn. Richie is 1 for 4. Flied to center, single, grounded out to first and fouled out to the catcher. Conference at the mound. As manager Johnny Keane has gone out to talk things over with Larry Jackson. Jackson was a starting pitcher, and he's going to stay in there. Johnny Keane turns and runs off the mound. the sign as Richie Ashburn chokes up on the bat. It's a nipper, called strike one. Jim Marshall is the runner at first. Ken Boyer in on the grass at third. Center fielder Kurt Flood shaded over toward left on left-hand batter Richie Ashburn. That's the way they play him, and Gotay is right in the hole. That's a call strike. Richie Ashburn trying to duck underneath, but Tom Gorman, the umpire behind the plate, says strike two. The base hit that Richie Ashburn had in the third inning was a ground ball punched right between Ken Boyer and Julio Gotay. And there was practically no room to punch one because Gotay was as far over in the hole as he could get anyway, where he is right now. Here's the drive going into center field. Kurt Flood moving over, makes the catch. Marshall halfway on the fly ball to center, returns to bag at first, no is back. Or at least Richie Ashburn had Kurt Flood moving because this one was to straightaway center, and he was shaded over to left center and had to hustle over there to pull it down. Two men out, and Felix Mantilla up there now. Mantilla is 1 for 3 tonight. That was a double. He also drew a walk. Has scored 1 run. Swing and a miss. It's strike one. Don't forget the New York Mets immediately after this ball game will fly to New York, and tomorrow at about noontime they will be welcome to the city of New York in a ticker tape parade. And they will open up at the Polo Grounds on Friday afternoon against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's a fly ball down the right field line. It is foul. It is curving on over and going out of play. Right fielder Don Landrum gave it the long run, but to no avail. When the New York Mets had to cut down to the 28-player limit to make the trip here to St. Louis, they optioned Joe Christopher out to Syracuse. 24-hour recall. Added Rod Keneal to the Met roster. He was on the Syracuse roster. They hope to have Christopher back before long. That pitch goes high. 1-2 now to Felix Mantilla. Manager Johnny Keane was telling us just before the ball game that the Cardinals had put Red Schoendienst on the active player list. Said he didn't have to cut anybody. They only had 27 as it was. Here's a ground ball going down to third base line. Ken Boyer up with it. He'll have a fast throw. He's out at first base and the ball game's over. And Mantilla grounded out third to first. Ken Boyer hustling over and firing it out across to Bill White. And the New York Mets have gone down in the top half of the ninth inning with no runs on, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And that is the end of the ball game. We'll be back in a moment with final totals in the summary, but right now the final score of the ball game: St. Louis Cardinals 11, the New York Mets 4. And now, a word for pipe smokers.